period, and now this has been modified by Honorable Supreme Court with a phased transition period of untrained staff. When I refer to untrained staff, I would like to remind you that during 2017-18, NIOS has floated a training for untrained teachers across the country, and millions of teachers were trained through distance mode during a period of 2 years. Post that, they had to undergo a test and they were certified that now they have the minimum qualification. Largely, they were from the private sector. Second, I would like to read out from the section 23, which empowers the National Council of Teacher Education to set standards for teacher training programs, emphasizing child-centered pedagogy. So, minimum qualifications for teachers are set by there is a specific term which is academic authority. In this case, NCT was the academic authority. So, and another section that should be read with it is section 8.1 and 8I and 9J. Appropriate governments and local authorities must provide training facilities, enforce standards like TET. TET is, as you are aware of, teacher eligibility test, which is a prerequisite to be a teacher. And then there are certain points which I would like to read out from my papers. There is a provision that in-service training is compulsory. Untrained teachers must complete a 6 month bridge course within 5 years. Later, it was extended by NCT. And next one is curriculum reforms, focuses on a child-friendly, activity-based approach, eliminating rote learning and aligning with National Curriculum Framework 2005 principles. Section 29 is very important in this regard, which reads out as it requires curriculum and evaluation by a specified academic authority. For example, the State Council of Education Research and Training. In states, they have been notified as academic authority, and it emphasizes child-centered learning, as I have read out. It emphasizes all-round development. It emphasizes instructions in mother tongue where practicable. This is the term used there. And next one is activity-based education, free from fear and aligning with constitutional values and holistic growth. No board exams until elementary uh, level of completion. So there are two more points I would like to read out from papers. There is a provision that RTE prohibits corporal punishment, mental harassment, training teachers in positive discipline and inclusive classroom management. And then there is continuous professional development, CPD programs like those prescribed under Diksha portal. It provides that at least 50 hours of annual training on RT compliant subjects should be organized by the academic authorities, like Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan and SCRT. And then there is a provision which demands reforms emphasizing multilingualism and local context in curricula, supporting RT's no detention policy. And last one is SCRTs and diets lead curriculum redesign and district level training, integrating RT with NEP 2020 for competitiveness learning. So these are the provisions I tried to read out. In this background, we can discuss further because how the sessions will unfold. Probably participants would like to ask questions how this is being implemented. Provision is one thing, and how it is implemented is the most crucial and important. Then I would like to refer to more points. One is key challenges in teacher training under RT. So although there was a provision that all untrained teachers would undergo a training provided by the NIOS in 2017-18. However, data suggests that there is shortage of qualified trainers who will train them. There is inadequacy of infrastructure in diets. And then there is a data which suggests that although there is a provision that there should be continuous professional development which targets about 50 hours per year, and the data suggests that 60% of states not been able to attain this target. Another point I would like to highlight is challenges in curriculum reform under RTEs. There is a resistance to child-centered shift. There are certain elements which cater to this, which enhance this resistance. I would like to delve upon this issue in due course of my discussions. I would like to cite an example from Uttar Pradesh only, where I belong to, where I live and where I have worked. There is a data which says that in 2023-24, target of teacher training was fixed to begin in the month of August, which could not take place till January 2024. So there is a time lag. Always you will notice when you try to find out the data, you will find that there is a time lag in the backdrop of what is prescribed for teacher professional development during in-service and how it is achieved. Then there is an element of loss of content, loss of methodology during teacher training because usually it is followed under a three-tier cascade at the state level, then at the district level, and then at the block level. And block level, as you are aware of, there is a very uh, institutionalized system of block resource center where teachers are supposed to come and attend the teacher training provided by the state level team and the district level team. So during this course of training, I have been witnessing since 1997 prior to implementation of the RT that each year there is a training for teachers. Somehow if you talk to teachers, they will echo their feeling. They will sense you will get the sense that there is a training fatigue also. Lot of training on different subjects year on year, continuously. So before they are able to absorb what have been transmitted to them, again there is a training. And also since schools have not enough teachers, so there are certain teachers who are meant for attending teacher training. Any kind of training you will organize, you will see the same faces coming again and again. So there is an element of teacher fatigue also. And I don't mind suggesting that if you wish, you can have a short-term study on this, what kind of fatigue they feel and how the teachers training is not being so effective. So next point I would like to read out from my papers is, uh, as I had said, you may take up a study in this regard, teacher fatigue, and a teacher's response to continuous professional development programs. There are three studies which I could find relevant for the today's discussion. There is one study done by Mr. Muralidharan Singh and Ganimia in 2019, which says that educational standards mentioned in regulations do not translate into actual compliance by schools. It is very relevant. And second one is done by Mr. Khan in 2021, which explains that implementation issues primarily caused by a shortage of trained staff who could help children with special needs limit inclusive education opportunities. That is another area to be thought of, to be discussed, and to be explored further. And last study I would like to mention is done by Nayak in 2022. An extensive investigation revealed that pandemic-induced transition to online learning specifically affected students from marginalized ecological settings. The digital gap violates the core purpose of RT. So, uh, if you are interested, you can find it online. It is available, and you can go through the detailed findings of these studies, which are very relevant up to my view. Uh, See, when we talk about RT, we should keep in mind the national curricular frameworks as well. As of now, we have at least seven documents in the name of NCF. First one was his National Curriculum Framework 1975, then NCF 1988. It was focused on environment, women's equality, aligned with National Policy on Education 1986, way back. And then there was National Curriculum Framework 2000. It had stressed on constructivism, flexibility in subjects, influenced by the Yashpal Committee. And then there was NCF 2005, which is very familiar to whosoever in the sector of elementary education. And then we had National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education, NCFPE 2009. NCT has documented linking RTE to teacher qualifications, multidisciplinary BA-led reforms. And then we had a national curriculum framework for foundational stage because you might have heard there is a lot of buzz about foundational literacy and numeracy, FLN, and Nipun Bharat Abhiyan. It was implemented in 2022. And the last one I would like to refer is National Curriculum Framework for School Education 2023. It covers entire age group of 3 to 18, and it emphasizes competency-based, multilingual, integrates vocational education, etc. So these are the relevant extracts. Now, in the later part of my discussion, I would like to focus on two, three things which constantly create concern in the area. That as a study has found also done by NIAC, during pandemic, what we have experienced, there is no need to refer to that, but slowly the system was shifted to online teaching learning. I would like to refer a report couple of months back which says that US schools in USA, US schools had spent 30 billion on edtech, on laptops and tablets in 2024, and it was 10 times more than the budget for textbooks, and it is envisaged that it will be doubled again. This yet screen time correlates with declining performance. This is very alarming. I don't have the details how they have what kind of methodology they have applied and how they have captured this, but this is documented that there is a decline in children's performance. Those who have been shifted to edtech and online teaching learning. Uh, Evidence points to a reversal of the Flynn effect. There is a term used in the study which refers to IQ over generations. For Gen Z, who were born during 1997 to 2012, it has been noticed that there is a decline in the IQ and cognitive skills since 2010. And this generation is linked to screens, tech in US and Europe. 80 plus countries are in this area. So I would like to flag this issue for the larger audience and the participants of this seminar that they should view this whole gamut of shifting from face-to-face classroom-based teaching and an adult who can play a role in the life of a small child who is in the formative years of age, how they are being affected and how the tech companies are pushing this agenda forward. So, if you think it would be a good topic to explore, to research, to examine, that will be a good case. Uh, there are two more points I would like to highlight. One is of late you might have encountered there is a constant debate on the issue of structured pedagogy, means teachers would be provided lesson plans and they have been instructed to follow a particular sequence, particular timeline, and they have to rush to complete the syllabus. As I had mentioned earlier, schools don't have, say, if there are five classes. In most of the cases, you won't find that there are five teachers. Schools have less than five teachers for five classes, less than eight teachers for eight classes. So this structured pedagogy had an assumption that for each class there is a teacher. So when I interact with teachers, when I find time to interact with teachers, they feel that there is a rush to complete the syllabus. However, they have positive of time, they have positive of energy. Although there is a lot of material, lot of support material, lot of infrastructure, but teacher time is minimized by division of her time uh, between different classrooms. So, how structured pedagogy is going to help or disservice to the teacher? This is another area to be explored, to be thought of further. And vis-a-vis, there is a there is a thought which says that students should be taught at the level where they are. Coming back to the structured pedagogy, it assumes that the class is homogeneous. Every child is at the almost same level, and they have same pace of learning. This is not the situation. This is not the reality. In a class of 30 children, you will find at least there are three, four levels of children who are struggling with, those who are at the mid level, and those who are proficient. So, how teacher training can help, how material can help handling such a diverse classroom, especially in rural areas, in disadvantaged settings, is another area of concern to be discussed further. Last one is there is a large chunk of schools run by the privately managed organizations. Uh, if I'm allowed to say, I would like to suggest that we don't have any system to capture what is the current status of teacher qualification working in those schools. I'm not talking especially about the multi-brand, big brand schools run by the uh, very affluent class, very affluent societies and institutions. I'm talking about the budget schools who charge very less fee, working in a very condition with minimal resources and with the minimal fee structure, hard to realize the money from the community, say 300, 400, 500 per month. They can charge fee because that would be out of the capacity of the parents too. Everybody loves to say that I have seen persons, those who are working in the unorganized sector, in farm sector, in household sector, in labor market, they are ready to pay for the uh, good quality education of the child. But big question is how much they can pay, how much they can afford. One. Two is in private schools, we don't have any mechanism to capture what kind of curriculum they are pursuing. Although there is a mandate that they have to be affiliated with a particular board, either a state board or the central board, but there is no mechanism to scrutinize, to monitor what kind of curriculum they are pursuing. Uh, Having said that, suppose they are following a curriculum. Everybody loves to say that we are following the NCRT curriculum, which is in vogue. But I have seen, and you might have encountered also, if you ask a teacher in a school, what is the curriculum for a particular class or subject, they will show the textbook. Meaning by what I understand is what I have gathered is the textbook is the curriculum. This is not true. Curriculum is something different, and textbook is a product which tries to cover the aspects of the curriculum minus pedagogy, minus methodology. They try to cover the subjects, topics, themes. But for a common teacher working in a very, uh, I mean, it would be wrong to say that in all these schools, but largely teachers have no idea what is the curriculum for a particular class or subject. They are following the textbook, and textbooks are very linear. And in private sector schools, you might have encountered, you can say anywhere, anytime, they are highly priced, unreasonably highly priced. For that kind of textbook, you can buy a textbook from the NCRT at half rates, one third price. But in private schools, that is another area to look at, to explore and examine, see how this market economy functions, how it is flourishing. Uh, this is based on simply my experience that in private sector there is no system of continuous professional development. That is another area to be thought of. And lastly, I would like to say that although there are provisions, there are mandates, and they have to follow a curriculum, they have to follow a design of schooling. But we don't have any system of academic audit. We have all kind of audits of financial parameters, but we don't follow any academic audit. How the curriculum is transacted, how far the curriculum is transacted, and the expectation set by the curriculum, set by the academic authority, whether children are able to achieve that level of competence, skill, knowledge, etc. So, I mean, this is high time if I can suggest that this issue can be flagged and explored further. Okay, how the schools can undergo an academic audit, system of academic audit. So I think I have tried to make cover my points. And one last thing I would like to say that diets are the instrumental in continuous professional development. Diets have been strengthened, diets have been established, strengthened, and on a continuous basis. And recently in 2024-25, I have heard, because I am not now the part of the system, that certain diets in the states are being developed as center of excellence, keeping it keeping aside at how the teacher training can be more impactful, more effective, more efficient. Uh, I don't know, I have time or not, Srinath?
Sir, yes, sir. You have time, sir, if you some more minutes. And also,
Okay,
it would be beneficial for other Hindi people are also there, sir. So kindly summarize in Hindi as well.
okay,
A bit, sir. Thank you, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Last point I would like to, because Srinath has indicated that I have few more minutes. There are provisions of penalty also. If someone fails to follow the provisions of RT with respect to teacher training and curriculum, there are penalties. Nobody can run a school without recognition, and there is a penalty. They can be de-recognized if they don't go for the recognition or affiliation, and if they fail to get recognized and still they function, they will be fined for rupees 1 lakh. And if they still continue, they will be fined rupees 10,000 per day. Although there is a provision, but as Muralidharan has found out, that provisions doesn't necessarily mean that they are being implemented. And then there is another penalty under Section 19, which says that the school must meet teacher qualification norms. And on the failure of this provision, they will be de-recognized, and as I had said, they will be fined. Uh, Penalty for teachers also. It's very interesting to know that there is a provision for penalty for teachers and officials if a teacher defaults on duties, especially teacher training responsibility under Section 23. They may face disciplinary proceeding under the service rules. One more thing I would like to flag, it's very important to know that courts have ordered that deployment of unqualified teachers is violation of Article 21A. I'd like to explain Article 21A is right to free and compulsory education of a child. So this was all what I could say. I would like to summarize. सबसे पहले तो मैंने आरटी के जो कुछ प्रावधान थे उनके बारे में आपसे चर्चा की कि पाठ्यक्रम और किस तरह से प्रमाणित किया जाएगा, किस तरह से निर्धारित किया जाएगा। एनसीटी राष्ट्रीय अध्यापक शिक्षा परिषद का क्या रोल है एज एन एकेडमिक अथॉरिटी, जो शिक्षकों के योग्यता का निर्धारण करते हैं। पाठ्यक्रम का निर्माण और शिक्षकों के प्रशिक्षण का दायित्व स्टेट पे जो एकेडमिक अथॉरिटीज हैं। आप जानते हैं कि एजुकेशन जो है वो कॉन्करेंट सब्जेक्ट है, तो राज्य और केंद्र दोनों का योग है इसमें। तो राज्य में एससीईआरटीज हैं, वो शिक्षकों के प्रशिक्षण और पाठ्य पुस्तकों की व्यवस्था करेंगे और प्री सर्विस प्रशिक्षण आयोजित करेंगे जो ज्यादातर डाइट्स के थ्रू होता है, और प्राइवेट इंस्टीट्यूशंस भी हैं जो डीएलएड का कोर्स कराते हैं। और इसके बाद मैंने आपसे दो तीन चीजें और कही हैं कि मैं ऑल्दो इट विल बी अ रेपिटेशन दैट करिकुलम रिफॉर्म्स ज्यादातर चाइल्ड सेंटर्ड एक्टिविटी बेस्ड लर्निंग, रोड लर्निंग को हटाना और मूल्य कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वैल्यूज पे फोकस करना, ये सारी बातें कहते हैं। और हर शिक्षक को कम से कम 50 घंटे का एक कंटिन्यूअस प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट कोर्स हर साल करना चाहिए। मैंने ये भी कहा कि कुछ चुनौतियां हैं जो प्रशिक्षित अध्यापकों की कमी है पूरे देश के स्तर पर आप देखेंगे तो। और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, अगर सभी शिक्षकों को 50 घंटे ट्रेनिंग देना है तो उसके लिए इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर होना चाहिए, उसकी थोड़ी कमी है। और इन सर्विस ट्रेनिंग के जो प्रोग्राम्स प्रतिवर्ष निर्धारित किए जाते हैं, उनके जब क्रियान्वयन की जब बात आती है तो जो टाइमलाइन तय की जाती है, जैसे अगस्त में शुरू होना है तो वो 4 महीने 5 महीने डिले हो जाता है। मैं उन कारणों में नहीं जाऊंगा कि जिसकी वजह से इसमें डिले होते हैं। आई मीन दैट विल बी अ गुड स्टडी टू कंडक्ट, टू अंडरटेक कि टीचर ट्रेनिंग के लिए क्या प्रोविजंस थे, क्या टाइमलाइंस थी और किस तरह से वो घटित हुए। और करिकुलम रिफॉर्म में
Please,
जो, सॉरी,
please translate in English, sir. Actually, I don't know Hindi.
I couldn't get your point.
Actually, we are from South India, so
हाँ, हाँ।
Hindi,
अच्छा,
you know.
somebody suggested that you can say in Hindi also because they're Hindi
Excuse
speak.
me, sir. I'm
हाँ,
sorry to interrupt, sir.
हाँ।
Uh,
I would love to.
Sir, please carry on, sir. Hindi, that
Okay,
is. Yes, sir.
thank you.
Yes.
So Hindi or English?
Sir,
Multilingual.
Hindi. Already session was in English, so for 10 minutes, for the final summarization, Hindi would be fine, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a big debate which is around whether teachers should be given the freedom and autonomy to design the classroom process, or they should be provided uh, centrally developed and designed and circulated lesson plans based on the assumption that every child is at the same level in the class, and they learn at the same level, at the same pace, and they will be able to understand and follow the curriculum in a very linear way. There is no going, um, coming and going. Say there is no backward motion because teacher has to finish the curriculum. So there is an inherent contradiction. One is they have to complete, and second is whether child is learning or not, whether she is acquiring the competence level or not, whether they are efficient in the subject or not, and they have to finish. And in this backdrop, there is another thought process which says that children should be taught at the right level, at the level where they are. It gives space for the teacher to design and innovate and develop our own style of teaching, choosing the material, and deciding the speed of instructions. So these were the some of the points I thought I would be able to discuss with you. To largely, I had tried to flag and mention. Uh, so my uh, my points are over, and now I am available for the questions.
Thank you, Dr. Vikram Singh, sir, for this clear and insightful session. We'll now have 10 minutes question answer session. Participants may raise their hands and ask their questions. They can ask questions in English as well in Hindi languages.
Both.
Any questions?
Yes, ma'am. I'm audible. Hello. Hello, ma'am. I'm audible.
Yeah.
So I have a questions about Mr. Savandra Vikram.
Yeah, you can ask your question.
Okay, my question is about Mr. Now. India has the world's largest population of literacy adults, with approximately 287 million people unable to read or write. That is the report of the UNESCO. Or 37% of the adults are unable to read and write. So what is the roles of the government in order to decrease of these issues about the child right of protection, compulsion now about now the education of the child?
So, keeping in mind the uh, difference between the prescribed level of learning and actually up to what extent children are learning, uh, since 2018 onwards, Government of India has uh, rolled out the program of Nipun Bharat Abhiyan, which focuses on grade 1 and 2 and to to teach children uh, the prescribed competencies of grade 1 and grade 2. Especially, it focuses on reading, writing, numeracy, etc. So, I don't have data based on the field experiences. I would say that this is very effective. This has been found very effective, and Nipun Bharat mission is uh, very efficiently being run. So I think that is one important development which has taken place after RTE.
My second question is also about if there are enough unqualified teachers during the classes of the children, what would be the impact of their learning?
So it's not very difficult to understand and assume and infer what will be the fate of the children where teacher is not trained. So if there is a less capable teacher, the influence and impact of that adult in the classroom will necessarily take a toll on the learning level. So there is a direct correlation between the level of competence and qualification of the teacher and the learning level of the class. So I don't think there is any doubt about it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, there is one question in the chat box.
Mhm.
How can social work student address the stigma among parents who prefer child labor over schooling and promote children's right to education?
Pinky, in 1990s, there was a there was an thought which promoted that parents are not interested in sending their children to school. Later on, the studies show that there is lot of interest and lot of stake from the parental side. They may not be educated, they might not have never gone to school, but there is a high demand because it is directly manifested in the surge of privately managed low fee budget schools. There is a high demand. Everybody wants to say his or her child to a school for a good quality school, and largely good quality education for an illiterate parent. It is English medium schools. So you will find studies are there, data is there, which says that there is a high demand for English medium schools. They may not be functioning in English medium, but if there is a board which says that this is an English medium schools, there is a high demand for that school. And there is a departure from the government schools to private schools also. It has been documented. So I don't buy this idea that parents are not interested. One. Second is a social work scholar or a student can do a quick survey on this, whether there is a demand for good schooling or not. And I'm hopeful that the answer will be in affirmative. They will say yes. Third is how we can help this situation. So, since you are a student of social work, I'm not a competent person to suggest what kind of approaches and strategies you should adopt. But summarily, I can say कि whenever you meet the parents, they will listen to you if you talk about child's education. Also, there is no need to convince them not to send them to labor force and to send them in the school. There is an element of opportunity cost. There is an economics. There is a different dimension to entire situation where families bread and butter, if it is relying on the child's labor, I mean, it's a very tricky situation. And government has floated many programs where children from this community are tapped, surveyed, convinced, and they are brought to the education system. So, uh, suggestion would be to meet them and say them, demonstrate them, how education can be an enabler for life. I don't know. I could answer your question or not.
Thank you, sir. Now, this is the last question of this session. Shraddha, you can open your mic and ask the question.
Hello, sir. So, am I audible?
Perfect.
Okay, so my question is the additional workload on teachers, especially in government schools, apart from teaching, the large documentation that they have to do, like also there's this duty in elections and other additional duties as well. So, how far do you think it affects their ability to focus on their main responsibility, that is actually educating the students and focusing on their students mainly?
Shraddha, you have very clearly articulated your viewpoint. Yes, there are a lot of work assigned to teachers other than teaching learning. There are certain tasks which are entrusted in the RTE also, and courts have ordered also, say census, so election. There are certain duties they have to have, they have to do. That can't be undone. because teachers are the largest workforce and a system has to rely on that. That is allowed. Number one. Number two is uh, I I consider this whole situation in these terms that for any academic calendar, you will find that there are prescribed number of days. They are largely 220 days for an academic year. And a school functions usually for 5 hours, and 5.5 hours, including the midday meal. So if midday meal is excluded, at least they have 1100 hours of teaching learning time. Challenges, main challenges, up to my mind, I may be wrong, and I wish I'm wrong, that when teacher is available in the school, in the class, what kind of transactional methodology, what kind of instructional uh, design is being followed? Uh, this is a very dismal situation, that very disappointing situation that you'll find a teacher in the school, present in the school, but children are not learning. So there is no meaningful interaction between teacher and child, which is translated into instructional hour. There is a big gap between actual and prescribed instructional time. So against the 1100, you will find hardly 450, 500 hours, 500, 600 hours, not more than that. So main issue is when teacher is there, what kind of teaching learning is taking place. That is the bigger challenge. There is evidence if for 60 working days, children are taught at least 2 hours language and maths in grade 1 and 2, they will be proficient. There is data. There are reports which verify this. Anything else? Srinath, Vicky?
Thank you, sir, for clearing the doubts of the participants. Now, I would like to hand over the session to my co-host, Mr. Srinath Bandela, who will guide us through the next segment of today's workshop. Over to you, Mr. Srinath.
Thank you, Pinky. So first of
Thank you,
all,
Srinath.
sir, that was a very insightful session, sir. So we now move to the second session, which focus on the social, gender, and community dimensions of this RTE Act. So our second person is Dr. Punita Gupta, Professor of Education at Aditi Mahavidyalaya University in Delhi, and a respected educationalist and gender specialist. She brings nearly 3 decades of experience in teacher education and has worked extensively on elementary education.
Hello, sir. Am I audible enough? And am I audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you are
Okay.
audible.
And are you able to see my PowerPoint presentation as well? Okay. So, namaskar to everyone.
Audible?
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, organizers and all the participants, for having me here. And just to see the diversity of the group, I won't say that I have tried to have a justified approach to that, but I have tried to prepare slides in English, and I would be speaking in between in Hindi to explain my presentation and what all I have planned for today. So if I talk about, you can see the title of the presentation. It will be more about participation of a school and teachers to make I won't say successful, but effective implementation of RTE, and also the community participation in the form of, community, parents, and also SMC, school management committees. So starting from the what is my referral point, if I say that uh, the act, RTE Act 2009, and the document which they came out next year in April 2010. This document is produced by Ministry of Human Resource Development, Department of School Education and Literacy. You can see that document is in my hand. We say this is a report of the Committee on Implementation of the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009 and the resultant revamp of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. आप में से बहुत लोगों ने सर्व शिक्षा अभियान के बारे में सुना होगा। टाइटल जैसे अपने आप ही कहता है, सर्व शिक्षा अभियान, और इसका मेजर फोकस जो है वो यूनिवर्सलाइजेशन ऑफ एलिमेंट्री एजुकेशन की तरफ ही है। और इसी के साथ हमारा एक्सटेंडेड एक और प्रोग्राम है जो RMS से है, जो कि राष्ट्रीय माध्यमिक शिक्षा आयोग, जो आगे की शिक्षा की बात करता है इसके साथ। बट थोड़ा सा फोकस मेरा SSA पर इसलिए रहेगा क्योंकि इसका अलाइनमेंट विद द RTE इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज जो फील्ड पार्ट, जो फंक्शनल पार्ट है, वो फंक्शनल पार्ट SSA के फॉर्म में ही हमें RTE का दिखता है। सो मेजरली अगर आप मेरे सेशन की बात करें तो मैंने उसे 3 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड किया है। पहला इज अबाउट द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ RTE, ये एक्ट क्या है, उसमें से मैंने कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट हिस्सों को निकाला है। आई हैव टेकन आउट अ फ्यू इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स व्हिच आई फील दैट इट इज important for you to understand. And then the second part is what actually government or the state is expecting, that how it is going to be implemented in the school. And third, it is about the gaps also, because I myself is a teacher educator, and from last 30 years I'm with the elementary teacher education program. So I have seen that, that how policy and programs have been evolved and transformed the school education processes. So मेरे अपने फील्ड के जो एक्सपीरियंसेस होंगे, बहुत ज्यादा बाहर की स्टडीज पर फोकस नहीं है, उससे रिलेटेड है। गैप्स पर बात करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, देन ओनली वी वुड बी एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई आवर रोल एज टीचर्स, एज सोशल वर्कर एंड काउंसलर्स इन द फील्ड। एंड आई वुड बी लिटिल बिट टॉकिंग अबाउट NEP, राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 जो है, जो कि आपने खुद देखा होगा कि वेरी फर्स्ट टाइम it's not about that they have identified the role of social worker in the sector of education, but in 1986 also, if you see that there is a mention about that we need to mobilize the community, we need participation from the community to sensitize and aware parents and community to send their children फॉर एजुकेशन। बट एक स्पेसिफाइड, जिसको कि और भी ज्यादा स्पेसिफाई करने की जरूरत है, बट टर्म्स के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से अगर हम देखें कि हम प्रोफेशनल्स की, सोशल वर्कर्स की और काउंसलर्स की इंपॉर्टेंस इन स्कूल सिस्टम, first to bring those students to the school, second to make them retain in the school system, and three they do their schooling successfully। हमें इन तीनों ही स्टेजेस पर हमें टीचर्स, सोशल वर्कर्स और हमें काउंसलर्स की जरूरत है कि वो पेरेंट्स और कम्युनिटी के साथ एंड स्कूल के साथ मिलकर काम करें, तो ही हम बेस्ट रिजल्ट्स देख पाएंगे। तो मेरे पावर पॉइंट प्रेजेंटेशन पे जाने से पहले जस्ट मेरा एक सवाल है कि अगर मैं इस तरीके से लैंग्वेज को मिक्स करके बोलूंगी तो विल इट बी कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव फॉर यू, विल इट बी अंडरस्टैंडेबल? कैन आई कीप माई प्रेजेंटेशन फ्लो लाइक दिस ओनली, या फिर आप चाहते हैं ज्यादा इंग्लिश या ज्यादा हिंदी हो? प्लीज आप एक बार मुझे बता दें।
This will be good, ma'am.
अच्छा, okay. So are you able to see my presentation, right? So this is about role and responsibility of teacher and communities under RTE. If you see that this is the first page of Gadget of India, these are the details you will be finding in the front page of the Gadget of India, which came out in August 27, 2009. And Ministry of Law and Justice, लेजिस्लेटिव डिपार्टमेंट का ये प्रयास था, उनका ये इनिशिएटिव था, जिसके वजह से हमें द राइट ऑफ चिल्ड्रन टू फ्री एंड कंपल्सरी एजुकेशन एक्ट 2009 हमें मिला। तो फ्रंट पेज ऑफ द गजेट ऑफ इंडिया आपको ऐसा दिखता है, उसमें ये डिटेल्स आते हैं। और इसके बाद तो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है, और विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, वेन एवर यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट एनी राइट यू हैव टू डिफाइन द टर्म्स ऑल्सो। सो इफ यू सी दैट व्हेन दे से दैट Act provides for free and compulsory education to all children of the age of 6 to 14 years. So it is important to describe and define the key terms as well. If you see the statement of this act, and there are certain key terms: free, compulsory education, children 6 to 14 years. So we need to understand how this particular act has defined these different terms. You can read here on the पावर पॉइंट प्रेजेंटेशन एज वेल। जब हम चाइल्ड की बात करते हैं तो वो मेल फीमेल चाइल्ड हो सकता है जो कि एज जिसका 6 to 14 ईयर्स हो। पैरेलली आई वुड बी कीपिंग दिस RTE एक्ट, I will try to define and describe, or maybe in certain points I would be able to reflect upon certain things which actually decided in 2009 as a act, and now in 2020 we are seeing in NEP there are certain different vocabularies NEP 2020 talks about। जब हम चाइल्ड की बात करते हैं और हम कहते हैं कि मेल और फीमेल चाइल्ड ऑफ द एज ऑफ 6 to 14 years, then we need to pay attention that NEP 2020 chapter 4 or part 4, where it talks about inclusive education, and talks about equity in education. It is talking about the transgender population as well. So it is talking about that this is a difficult task for the teachers to bring those children also in a school. So we are keeping now certain different identification and population into the umbrella of education. So this is going to be a challenging thing for the teachers, for the administration, and for the state also, to identify children who are not keeping themselves in these two categories, and how to bring those children, because everybody knows that kind of social taboo and discrimination only about TG population. Sorry, in between I would not be addressing transgender, just to save my time I would be saying TG population. Other backward communities also, even certain invisible tribal groups, even for the gender per se, you would say that certain uh, girl child group of some invisible community, they also come under this thing. So bringing these children to the school and making them retain in the school system is a very, very hard task which we need to perform as a teachers in a school, as a social worker who are working in the field of education. So these are certain terms which act defines that child belong to disadvantaged groups. A long list of
Hello, ma'am.
yes,
Sorry for inter-
एक लंबी लिस्ट इसमें दी गई है, जिसमें कि शेड्यूल कास्ट, शेड्यूल ट्राइब के अलावा इन्होंने उस तरीके के डिसएडवांटेज ग्रुप की भी बात की है जिनको कि सोशली, कल्चरली और लिंगुअली उनकी लैंग्वेज की वजह से या फिर उनके ज्योग्राफिकल सिचुएशंस की वजह से वो बैकवर्ड ग्रुप में आ जाते हैं। एजुकेशनली बैकवर्ड का कहने का मतलब है कि दे मे बी फर्स्ट जनरेशन लर्नर, बिकॉज पेरेंट्स डू नॉट हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग, सो दे फील एनकरेज इनफ टू सेंड देयर चिल्ड्रन टू द स्कूल सिस्टम। दूसरी चीज ये है कि आपने भी पहले सेशन में भी सुना कि व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ एजुकेशन। इन मेजॉरिटी फैमिली यू विल बी फाइंडिंग दैट with majority people that it is generally related with the finances। पढ़ने के बाद क्या होगा, क्या ये पढ़ना आपको एक नौकरी दिला सकता है, बिकॉज इट इज डायरेक्टली रिलेटेड विद द एम्प्लॉयमेंट ऑल्सो, दो इट इज टू अर्ली टू कमेंट ऑन दिस सिचुएशन व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द प्राइमरी एंड एलिमेंट्री एजुकेशन। लेकिन ये भी समझना पड़ेगा, somebody is investing his or her 8 years to the education, right? So उसका ये समझ बनाना और उसकी फैमिली का ये समझ बनाना कि ये एजुकेशन उसकी जिंदगी में क्या बदलाव लाएगा। हम इसको कहते हैं कि एजुकेशन का एक छोटा सा पर्पस नहीं है कि खाली ये आपको एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी की तरफ ले जाता है, ये लाइफ स्किल ट्रेनिंग भी है। बट उनके लिए, जिनके लिए आपका एक क्वेश्चन भी था अभी, जिनके लिए सर्वाइवल ही प्रॉब्लम है, जिनके लिए लाइवलीहुड ही प्रॉब्लम है, उनके लिए लाइफ स्किल ट्रेनिंग का इतना ब्रॉड अम्ब्रेला कितना मायने रखता है, वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड। सो इस चीज को यहाँ पर समझना कि हमारे पास जब हम बात करते हैं कि वी डू नॉट हैव अ होमोजेनियस ग्रुप, देन वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट डज हेट्रोजेनिटी मीन हियर। यहाँ पर हेट्रोजेनिटी का मतलब क्या है? यहाँ हेट्रोजेनिटी का मतलब क्लास, कास्ट, रिलीजन, रीजन, लैंग्वेज, जेंडर, इन सब से है। और फिर इसके साथ साथ हम कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जोन्स की भी बात करेंगे और जोग्राफिकल टेरेंस की भी बात करेंगे, जो कि डिफिकल्ट टू रीच है। बिकॉज जब कोई एक्ट या कोई राइट बन जाता है, उसको इस पर्सपेक्टिव में बात करना जरूरी है, बिकॉज द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन और द गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट हैज मेड दैट पर्टिकुलर राइट अवेलेबल फॉर यू, वेदर दैट राइट इज एक्सेसिबल। सो एक्सेसिबल में गवर्नमेंट ने जो अपने तरीके दिए हैं उसे एक्सेस करने के लिए, क्या वो मेरी कंडीशन में सूट करते हैं? क्या मैं उस स्कूल तक पहुंच पा रही हूँ? देयर आर टू थिंग्स। क्या मैं स्कूल तक पहुंच पा रही हूँ? अगर मैं नहीं पहुंच पा रही हूँ तो क्या स्कूल मेरे तक पहुंच पा रहा है? मेरे तक स्कूल के पहुंचने का मतलब है, इज द स्कूल सिस्टम और school nearby is taking any effort to reach to me? So these are the questions we need to discuss upon, and इस पर हमें reflection करना भी जरूरी है. These are certain terms, and interestingly, this is the first educational document, I think, that which is giving importance to parent and guardians also, because they are making them stakeholders. Because घर से स्कूल में निकलने के लिए जो पहला पुश उसको मिलेगा वो अपने घर से ही मिलेगा, और वो रेगुलरली मिलना चाहिए. क्योंकि अगर एक लॉन्ग टर्म एब्सेंटिज्म स्कूल में हो जाता है तो धीरे धीरे वो विड्रॉल सिम्टम्स की तरह से तरफ चला जाता है, और फिर हमें ड्रॉप आउट के केसेस भी दिखते हैं. सो हमें कांस्टेंट सपोर्ट फ्रॉम द होम, whether it is from the parent side or from the guardian side, we need it. So that is why these terms are very well defined in the act. तो वहां पर उन्होंने इन टर्म्स की बात की है. कुछ जो यस यस हेलो, am I audible? Am I visible?
Yes, ma'am. The PPT isn't visible, so participants are requesting that. Is that possible to
Oh,
share?
PPT is not visible.
Yes,
I'm
that's
really very sorry. Let me check.
yeah.
How come it happened? Give me a moment.
Yes.
I hope you are able to see now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So I'm just revising a little bit, not exactly revising, just scrolling it down. So this is how they have defined certain terms in acts: child belonging to disadvantaged group, and then belonging to weaker section, and elementary education. What do we mean by elementary it is from class 1 to class 8, and then parents. And they have broadened the term of parent, including the adoptive fathers or mother as well, and guardians who are looking after the children in absence of the natural parents, right? So and yes, of course, the one of the very very crucial element in the whole act, this is the school. So school and schooling, अगर आप स्कूल को देखेंगे तो स्कूल को हम बहुत सारी कैटेगरीज में डिवाइड कर सकते हैं. जैसे सर ने भी पहले बोला कि कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट में है, तो इट इज अ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, समवर्ती सूची जिसे हम कहते हैं, इट इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द सेंटर एज वेल एज द स्टेट. एंड इंडिया में हमें मालूम है कि अभी हम 3 tier गवर्नेंस में हैं, तो इसकी वजह से रोल ऑफ म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन एंड पंचायत हमें दिखता है कि कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है. सो जब आप स्कूल की बात करते हैं तो मेजरली गवर्नमेंटल साइड से वी हैव 3 स्टेक होल्डर्स: सेंटर, स्टेट एंड लोकल गवर्नेंस. और इन तीनों का रोल बहुत वेल डिफाइंड है अगर आप आरटीई को देखें. और उसमें सबसे ज्यादा जो स्ट्रॉन्ग ओनर्स जो है, स्ट्रॉन्ग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जो है, वो लोकल गवर्नेंस की जाता है. बिकॉज द कंसेप्ट ऑफ स्कूल हियर इज नेबरहुड स्कूल. बच्चे का एडमिशन को वो ये कहते हैं कि चाइल्ड शुड बी एडमिटेड इन अ नेबरहुड स्कूल. एज द टर्म यू सी दैट दिस टर्म वाज वेरी फर्स्ट टाइम कॉइन्ड इन 1964 during the discussion of कोठारी कमीशन, which is about the हमारा लैंडमार्क डॉक्यूमेंटेशन है जो कि स्कूल एजुकेशन के ऊपर बात करता है. उसमें पहली बार बात किया था. एंड द कंसेप्ट ऑफ नेबरहुड स्कूल का पर्पस क्या था? उसका पर्पस था इंक्लूजन इन स्कूल, बिकॉज द चिल्ड्रन हु वुड बी कमिंग फ्रॉम द नेबरहुड एरिया वुड बी बिलोंगिंग टू सर्टेन डिफरेंट सोशियो कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड एंड मे बी फ्रॉम द इकोनॉमिक बैकग्राउंड, डिफरेंट इकोनॉमिक बैकग्राउंड. और जब वो एक जगह पर आएंगे, दे विल सिट, दे विल लर्न, दे विल प्ले एंड दे विल ईट टुगेदर. सो वो एक कम्युनल हार्मनी का एक एग्जाम्पल सेट करेगा. सो उनको लगा कि आपने ड्यूई को भी पढ़ा होगा, जिसमें हम कहते हैं कि वो स्कूल को कहते हैं दिस इज अ मिनिएचर ऑफ सोसाइटी. सो इन रियल सेंस, इफ वी आर having these component and this understanding of neighborhood school in real terms, so we would be able to make a difference. Because if the student from diversity, they would be attending their school at least for 8 years and maybe beyond that as well, so they would be having a different understanding about different individuals and about the society as well. यहाँ पर जो एक सवाल आता है, certain not exactly criticism, certain observation related to RTE, I would be discussing simultaneously, because neighborhood का definition बहुत ही broad दिया गया है. उन्होंने कहा neighborhood school or the definition of neighborhood cannot be uniformal everywhere. So we need to understand the geographical, political and social situation of that place. So supposedly in certain hilly areas or desert areas, they have small hamlets जहां पर छोटे छोटे घर और बहुत छोटी बस्तियां हैं जिनमें they have a very limited population. So establishing a school will be difficult. In what sense? Because you have to put lot of finances, लॉट ऑफ मनी टू स्टैब्लिश अ स्कूल. तो एक छोटी सी पॉपुलेशन के लिए एक स्कूल बनाना, क्योंकि 1986 का अगर आप पॉलिसी देखेंगे तो वो ये कहता है कि देन देयर शुड बी अ प्राइमरी स्कूल विद इन द रेडियस ऑफ 1 kilometer. And in best of the situation, we say that middle school, which is also known as elementary school, within the radius of 3 kilometer. So understanding the budget given to the school education, and the divide between financial divide or binary between the state and center government related to expenditure of education. So we need to understand how feasible is to have that neighborhood school within the radius of 1 kilometer. So उन्होंने इसको बहुत अच्छे से डिफाइन किया है, जहां पर उन्होंने नेबरहुड के लिए बोला है कि नेबरहुड एक हर सिचुएशन के लिए एक सेम डेफिनेशन नहीं है. नेबरहुड को स्टेट अपनी तरीके से, और स्टेट का मतलब ये है कि उसकी लोकल गवर्नेंस भी अपनी तरीके से डिफाइन करेगी, और उसके बाद वो डिसाइड करेगी कि वो स्कूल वहां पर हो सकता है कि नहीं. सो ये पहली सिचुएशन है. दूसरी सिचुएशन है, वी हैव स्कूल्स विच आर एडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट. This is another characteristics of the school system. Then we have some specified categories like Navodaya school, Jawahar school, and we have these Kendriya Vidyalaya concept. And then we have unaided school, which are generally called private school here in India, जो कि सरकार से किसी भी तरीके की कोई भी सहायता जिनको नहीं मिलती है. हमारे पास कुछ ऐसे भी प्राइवेट स्कूल्स हैं जिनको लैंड गवर्नमेंट ने दी है, या जिनको कि किसी भी तरीके की वित्तीय सहायता, जिसको हम कहते हैं फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस, उनको गवर्नमेंट से मिल रही है. लेकिन हमारे पास ऐसे भी स्कूल हैं जिनको किसी भी तरीके की कोई वित्तीय सहायता या किसी तरीके का हेल्प को गवर्नमेंट से नहीं मिलता. तो आप अब विद इन आप देखिए कि जब आपके पास नेचर ऑफ स्कूलिंग या फिर आपके पास जो स्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ स्कूल्स है वो एक जैसा नहीं है और इतने अलग अलग तरीके का है, तो एक किसी भी पॉलिसी को या किसी एक भी एक्ट को एक यूनिफॉर्मल तरीके से उस सिस्टम में इम्प्लीमेंट करना उतना इजी नहीं हो सकता. इट इज अ वेरी वेरी चैलेंजिंग टास्क. सो वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग आई वुड लाइक टू मेंशन हियर, दो द एक्ट and the policy, if you see that 1986 policy or 2020 policy, you see that they are emphasizing upon the neighborhood school, because neighborhood school के पीछे एक concept है, क्योंकि अगर आप चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखें कि बच्चे का फिजिकल डेवलपमेंट कितना हुआ होता है, या बच्चे का एक सोशल सराउंडिंग क्या है, या उसका इमोशनल स्टेटस इस समय क्या है, तो स्कूल नियर बाय एरिया में होना उसको स्ट्रेंथन करेगा, वो उसको हेल्प करेगा, बिकॉज दैट विसिनिटी इज quite familiar to the child. And the children who are coming to those schools are actually, in general, they are neighbors. वो आसपास में ही रहने वाले होते हैं. तो ये बच्चे के लिए स्कूल एक बिल्कुल एक बिल्कुल फॉरेन लैंड नहीं है. वो वहां पर उसको बहुत सारे फैमिलियर फेसेस दिख रहे हैं. वो फैमिलियर फेसेस स्कूल के टीचर्स हो सकते हैं, नॉन टीचिंग स्टाफ हो सकता है, और बच्चे हो सकते हैं. और ये उसके लिए स्कूल में टिकने का मतलब ये है, टू रिटेन इन स्कूल सिस्टम could be one of the very very क्रिटिकल फैक्टर, कि उसके फ्रेंड्स आते हैं नेबरहुड से, या उसके एल्डर ब्रदर सिस्टर उसी स्कूल में आ रहे हैं, तो वो उसके लिए स्कूल में रुकने का एक रीजन हो सकता है. लेकिन इसमें एक और बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है जो कि बड़ा कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी भी जाता है, लेकिन क्योंकि ये राइट बच्चे को देता है कि राइट ऑफ चाइल्ड्स एजुकेशन ये है, तो दिस फ्रीडम इज गिवन टू द चाइल्ड, कि अगर बच्चा नेबरहुड के स्कूल में नहीं और वो दूर के स्कूल में पढ़ने के लिए जाना चाहता है, तो उसके ऊपर कोई कंपल्शन नहीं है दैट द चाइल्ड हैज टू टेक एडमिशन इन द नेबरहुड स्कूल ओनली. So you cannot deny the admission of the child in a comparatively far away area just to keep this condition, just by giving this condition to the child or the family, that it is written in the act that only neighborhood school should be taken for the for the purpose of admission. तो ये एक चीज में भी यहाँ पर भी एक चॉइस देने की बात की गई है. फिर इसके बाद दूसरी चीज है कि when we say free and compulsory education, free means that there is no charges. कोई भी किसी भी तरीके के चार्जेस नहीं है. And please one thing you need to be clear upon, that when we are talking about no fee charges and other things, it is applicable only on the school which are fully funded by the government or state, or which are actually getting financial assistance from the system, which are called government aided schools. But private schools जो कि किसी भी तरीके का फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस सरकार से नहीं लेते हैं, दे कैन डिजाइन देयर ओन फी स्ट्रक्चर। आपको पता है कि लेकिन स्टेट का रोल उसमें भी है, जिसमें कि आपको पता है कि एक पूरा लीगल तरीका है कि आप कितना परसेंट फीस एक साल में बढ़ा सकते हैं और साथ में आपका एक जस्टिफिकेशन होना चाहिए। इन recent past you must have seen that parents protest regarding the sudden increase in fees, and recently you must have noticed that during the board examination, when the students were called to collect their admit cards, many private schools actually denied to give the admit card to the student by giving the reason that still there are huge amount of fees pending, because parents का ये कहना था कि बहुत unjustified तरीके से इन फीस को बढ़ाया गया है, और पीटीएम पेरेंट टीचर एसोसिएशंस इसको अपोज कर रही हैं, एंड स्टिल द मैटर इज पेंडिंग इन द कोर्ट। और उनका ये कहना था कि हम एडमिट कार्ड तब तक नहीं देंगे जब तक कि आप वो नहीं करेंगे। सो प्राइवेट स्कूल्स के पास वो अपनी फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी है और वो उसको यूज भी करते हैं। इसी तरीके से पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी के लिए भी है, वो आरटीई का पूरा जो भी प्रावधान है, फ्री एंड कंपल्सरी एजुकेशन इज एप्लीकेबल इन दो सर्कमस्टेंसेज आल्सो, एंड स्पेशली वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हेन इट इज अबाउट द मेंटल डिसेबिलिटीज, तो वहां पर आरटीई इस तरीके से काम नहीं करता है। वहां पर आपको सर्टेन डिफरेंट प्रोविजंस पर बात करने की जरूरत होती है। इट इज अबाउट द फिजिकल डिसेबिलिटीज, जहां पर हम उनकी बात करेंगे। फिर इसके बाद दिस इज द मोस्ट interesting part I feel, and even sir tried to I found that sir also explained in his presentation that there are special provision for children not admitted to or who not completed elementary education. So as a teacher, if I feel that 7-year-old or 8 years old child is coming to school who has never gone to he or she has never gone to school, and and the parents are saying that we want our child to be admitted in a age
Recording in progress.
The child is to be admitted in age appropriate class. In that situation, out of compulsion, because the parents are interested to send their child to the age appropriate class, teacher cannot deny that. Teacher only convince and suggest them, and sometimes teacher has to have a discussion with the parent. They have to call them many a times to discuss this thing, that out of a sudden child doesn't know how to write, how to read, how to identify letters, और आप हमसे एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि सीधे हम उसको क्लास 3 या 4 में डाल दें, ये बच्चे के लिए भी टफ होगा। लेकिन अगर पेरेंट्स से कहते हैं कि अगर ये उसके लिए अच्छा नहीं है, क्योंकि ही विल बी वेरी एज वाइज, अगर आप देखें देयर विल बी मेजर गैप इन एज, एंड वी आर लिटिल एप्रीहेंसिव कि हमारा बच्चा बुली ना हो स्कूल में बाकी के बच्चों के सामने, या फिर वो alone na ho jaye, because other kids would not be feeling comfortable sitting with the child because he is comparatively grown up one. So in that situation, school cannot deny the admission. School has to take the child in the class suggested by the teachers appropriate to the age, and then they are expecting, system is expecting from the teacher and from the school to provide special training, special classes to those children. And in some of the school it is called remedial classes, but if you see the Right to Education Act, they call it special training, special classes to the students. So I have a question here, that you may be having 4 or 5 different students who are coming from different backgrounds. Some might have done a little bit of schooling, some might have not gone at all in any of the formal school, and they are expecting that they should be admitted in class 2, and a teacher cannot have a same kind of pedagogical approach, same kind of content to make them uh, comfortable for that particular class which parents are expecting them to be. So ऐसी situation में teacher multiple कितने बच्चों को लेकर और कितने different तरीके से पढ़ा सकता है, this is a tough exercise, और उसके लिए बहुत काम भी हो रहा है. We are doing teacher training program, in service teacher training program, where we are helping teachers to prepare resources, even resource books पर काम हो रहा है कि जिससे कि उनको help मिल पाए. So उसके बाद भी ये नहीं है कि आप अगर ये कहेंगे 3 to 2 years का time होता है जिसमें हम इस तरीके का special training इन बच्चों को provide करते हैं, और अगर उसके बाद भी हम एक असेसमेंट टेस्ट लेते हैं. असेसमेंट के तरीके बहुत सारे हो सकते हैं. इट कुड बी कंटिन्यूअस एंड कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इवैल्यूएशन, इट कैन बी फॉर्मेटिव और समेटिव असेसमेंट, एंड वी फाइंड दैट द चाइल्ड हैज प्रोग्रेस्ड वेल and can be put into the class which is expected by the parents as per the age, appropriate age. It is going well with the age, तो हम उस बच्चे को प्रमोट करते हैं. और अगर हमको लगता है कि नहीं ये अभी नहीं वहां तक सीख पाया है, तो अगेन वी टॉक टू द पेरेंट्स और हम उनको कन्विंस करते हैं और हम उनको बताते हैं कि बच्चे को अभी और सीखने की जरूरत है. यहाँ पर 2 और चीजें मैं बात करना चाहूंगी इसमें. वन इज दैट there are certain schools which have only
Recording stopped.
they उनके क्लासेस सिर्फ क्लास 5 तक होते हैं, और वी हैव सम मिडिल स्कूल, अपर प्राइमरी स्कूल विच हैव क्लासेस टिल 8। तो यहाँ पर भी एक ट्रांसफरिंग का प्रोसेस होता है कि क्लास 5 के बाद बच्चों को दूसरे स्कूल में जाना है। और दूसरी चीज एक और भी है कि जब हम एडमिशन ले रहे हैं, वी आर नॉट डिनाइंग एनी एडमिशन, दिस इज व्हाट इज रिटन इन आरटीई। आपके पास अगर कोई बच्चा आता है, दो चीजें हैं, you are admitting the child, then you are working on the child, and then you are seeing that age appropriate और learning appropriate उसका status या उसका grade क्या हो सकता है, and then you are finalizing the class. So it means these are two different processes: admitting or enrolling the child, and finally deciding over the admission at which level. तो ये दोनों चीजों में समय लग सकता है, पर लेकिन बच्चा स्कूल का पार्ट है और वो स्कूल में पढ़ रहा है। इसके अलावा एक और भी चीज है कि आपके प्रोसेस में पढ़ाने के समय में अगर वो अबव एज हो जाता है, वो 14 ईयर्स की एज को खत्म कर देता है, तो क्योंकि ये एक्ट कहता है 6 to 14 ईयर्स, बट इसके साथ एक और भी चीज है, एलिमेंट्री एजुकेशन की। तो एलिमेंट्री एजुकेशन में आगे अगर साल बढ़ के भी जा रहे हैं, तो हम एलिमेंट्री एजुकेशन को अपना फोकल पॉइंट रखेंगे, और अप टू द क्लास 8 तक का जो पढ़ाई है उस पर हम फोकस करेंगे, और उसको हम पूरा करने के लिए उस बच्चे को हम हेल्प करेंगे। फिर इसके बाद ट्रांसफरिंग, बहुत ज्यादा आप अगर देखेंगे जो सोशली इकोनॉमिकली डिसएडवांटेज ग्रुप हैं, उनके साथ बहुत बड़ा रीजन होता है माइग्रेशन, बिकॉज दे आर माइग्रेटरी पॉपुलेशन। जब उनके पास जहाँ काम होता है वो वहां करते हैं और उसके बाद शिफ्ट हो जाते हैं। इन दैट सिचुएशन बच्चे की स्कूलिंग बहुत डिसरप्ट होती है, बिकॉज मे बी some of the construction labor, if I take an example of construction labor, they are attached with some construction houses. उनका जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर होता है उन्हें जहां ले जाता है वो वहां चले जाते हैं काम करने के लिए। तो ऐसे में जब वो सेशन के बीच में स्कूल में आते हैं तो क्या होगा? हालांकि आरटीई ने और स्कूल एजुकेशन सिस्टम ने एक पर्टिकुलर टाइम डिफाइन किया हुआ है कि हम अपने लास्ट एडमिशन इस समय तक लेंगे। ये नॉर्मल सर्कमस्टांसेस में है, लेकिन अगर कोई इस तरीके के केसेस आते हैं तो वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू डिनाई द एडमिशन, वी विल बी टेकिंग दैट चाइल्ड, बिकॉज किसी भी तरीके से हमें बच्चे का स्कूल में आना डिस्करेज नहीं करना है इफ द चाइल्ड हैज रीच्ड टू द स्कूल। दिस इज वन थिंग। Another thing is this, that this rule is not this rule is not meant for the private school in the same way, because private schools की जो फीस है, प्राइवेट स्कूल की सीट्स जो हैं वो ऑलरेडी अगर पहले ही एडमिशन में भर चुकी है तो वो सरप्लस सीट नहीं ले पाएंगे। रीजन इसके साथ एक और भी जड़ता है, क्योंकि फर्स्ट क्लास में उनका 25% सीट जो है वो इकोनॉमिकली वीकर सेक्शन को जा रहा है उनका सीट। तो इकोनॉमिकली वीकर सेक्शन के 25% सीट जाने में फ्री एंड कंपल्सरी एजुकेशन में स्कूल इज नॉट चार्जिंग एनीथिंग फ्रॉम देम. So later on, they will be getting reimbursement from the government for these 25% seats, but initially they have to put their resources on these children like other children in the school. तो कोई डिस्क्रिमिनेशन उसमें नहीं है। तो ये प्राइवेट स्कूल्स और गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स में कई चीजों में आप देखिएगा कि रूल्स एक तरीके से नहीं चल रहे हैं। अब ट्रांसफर में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, आप हमेशा देखिएगा कि स्कूल प्रोसेस इज इवन इन द कॉलेज लेवल, यू मस्ट हैव सीन दैट द डेट ऑफ बर्थ इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। सो this act had tried to think about all probable situations which would not be in the favor of child. So there may be certain children who have not have kind of registration in any dispensary, primary clinic or hospital, or any certificate which would prove that what is their date of birth. In that situation, they had government state suggest that you take the admission on the statement of the parents, because जो भी डेट पेरेंट्स देंगे आप उस डेट पे, पेरेंट्स की डेट पर आप उसका एडमिशन लीजिए। आप एडमिशन नहीं रोकेंगे, लेकिन उसके बाद आप फर्दर एक्सरसाइज कर सकते हैं। आप पूछ सकते हैं कि क्या किसी भी तरीके के आंगनवाड़ी के डॉक्यूमेंट्स, ब्लॉक के डॉक्यूमेंट, एनी डॉक्यूमेंट, विल इट बी एबल फॉर यू टू प्रोड्यूस दोज डॉक्यूमेंट्स। इफ दे कैन give them time, they will produce the document, but बच्चे की पढ़ाई नहीं रुकनी चाहिए सिर्फ इस बेस पर कि आपके पास किसी भी तरीके का उसका सर्टिफिकेट नहीं है। सिमिलरली, क्योंकि बच्चा इज कमिंग फ्रॉम सम अदर प्लेस, सो ट्रांसफर जिसे आप टीसी सर्टिफिकेट कहते हैं, तो विदाउट डिले दैट टीसी सर्टिफिकेट शुड बी प्रोवाइडेड बाय द स्कूल, सो दैट जो उसका लॉस ऑफ लर्निंग हो रहा है एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पे उसको मिनिमाइज किया जा सके। तो उन प्रोसेसेस को भी उन्होंने, मतलब टीसी जैसे प्रोसेस को आप इतनी इंपॉर्टेंस दे रहे हैं आरटीई एक्ट में लिखना, क्योंकि आपको ये मालूम है कि आपकी बहुत सारी पॉपुलेशन है जो मूवमेंट में रहती है, वो एक जगह नहीं रुकती है, क्योंकि उसके पीछे रीजन ये है कि उनके पेरेंट्स का एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज को देखते। तो उन्होंने इस तरीके की सारी चीजों को रखा है, और इसके अगेंस्ट दे हैव इन्होंने पेनल्टी को भी रखा है, जिसमें कि उन्होंने कहा हेड ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशन और प्रिंसिपल, या जिसको हम हेड मास्टर्स या मिस्ट्रेस भी कहते हैं, अगर उन्होंने प्रोवाइड नहीं किए इस तरीके के सर्टिफिकेट, तो उनके अगेंस्ट किसी भी तरीके के ड्यूटी बाउंड एंड डिसिप्लिनरी एक्शंस लिए जा सकते हैं। एंड इसके बाद यहाँ पर उन्होंने दिया है कि ड्यूटीज ऑफ अप्रोप्रिएट गवर्नमेंट, लोकल अथॉरिटीज एंड पेरेंट्स, उनकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज क्या है। सो एस्टैब्लिशिंग द स्कूल, reinforcing the standards and norms which is expected from them, and taking care of the teaching staff. If we have I won't say unqualified, I would say underqualified staff, so what kind of in-service training can be provided to them. We are having certain bridge courses prepared by NCT, National Council of Teacher Education, for the teachers, so that they can have that prerequisite qualification or certification from NCT. So यहाँ पर क्वेश्चन दोबारा आता है, जो कि पहले भी आपने ये कहा, और पहले वाले सेशन के बीच में भी आया। यस, फॉर्मल सिस्टम में 2 years डाइट करके या 4 years BLED करके अगर आप जो ट्रेनिंग लेके आ रहे हैं, बिकॉज देर इज अ कंपल्सरी कॉम्पोनेंट ऑफ स्कूल इंटर्नशिप, यू आर गोइंग टू स्कूल, you are experimenting with the students, you are under the supervision of your teacher educators, you are under the supervision of your school teachers, you are discussing about children and their profile on everyday basis with the teachers in the school, and the teachers who are doing these certificate courses through distance mode and online, they are missing all the classroom teaching learning processes and transactions. So ये एक मिस है। So obviously ये quality of teaching और quality of ट्रेनिंग पर क्वेश्चन खड़ा करता है, और ये कहीं ना कहीं उनको उस तरीके के ड्यूरिंग कोर्स ऑफ टाइम, अगर वो टीचिंग प्रोसेस में रहते हुए वो एक रिफ्लेक्टिव टीचर बन जाए एंड वो इन सारी चीजों को समझना शुरू कर दें, दैट इज अ सेपरेट थिंग। बट एज ए फर्स्ट ट्रेनिंग अगर उन्होंने ये सीखा नहीं है, तो ये कहीं ना कहीं उनकी उस टीचिंग की अंडरस्टैंडिंग को कम करेगा। उस टीचिंग की अंडरस्टैंडिंग में बहुत सारी चीजें आती हैं, अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ टेक्स्ट बुक, understanding of individual child, and your individual attention towards the child, your sensitive pedagogies, ये सारी चीजें हैं जो मायने रखती हैं। resource materials which you are preparing for those particular lessons which you are going to teach in the classroom, and your capability to analyze the textbooks and concept, ये सब कुछ असर पड़ता है अगर आपका ट्रेनिंग कंपोनेंट उस तरीके का नहीं है जिस तरीके का रेगुलर टीचर ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम आपको देते हैं। ये मैंने टीचर ट्रेनिंग वाला प्रोग्राम का पॉइंट यहाँ पर क्यों डिस्कस किया, क्योंकि आरटी में एक प्रोविजन है, इसमें उन्होंने एक बात की है जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि रेमेडियल क्लासेस की उन्होंने बात की है कि द स्टूडेंट हु आर नॉट प्लेस्ड एज पर देयर एज in school grades, so you need to give them a special training or remedial classes to bring them to at par for that particular grade. So in that situation they said that preferably the school teachers would take that responsibility. So they said that a school would be having some designated teacher for this purpose, who would be seeing there's a special training or a special student for training purpose, and then they suggest that you can hire certain teachers for this purpose, because this is going to be from 2 months to 2 years, the time range they have given for this preparation, special training to the students. And then they have suggested that if you are not finding qualified teachers, that is for sure, because they would be coming for for a shorter period of time for lesser number of students, so they would not be paid what other teachers are getting. So this is going to be a contractual kind of appointment the teachers would be getting. So this is not very encouraging amount which they would be getting against their services. So and then they said, and maybe the time duration is very less, so many of the qualified teacher might not be interested to come for this job, because they might be searching full-time job in other private schools, because that would give them better earning. So in that situation they have suggested you can appoint under qualified teacher as well, but they should be minimum graduate. So even the teacher who has not taken a first basic degree in teaching will also be allowed to teach to these initial years, which I found that are the foundation years and very critical, and which actually create a base for the child, whether the child would retain in a school or not. If we are doing a kind of compromise in training and compromise in degree or education, that is something very, very worrisome. Though they have given a clause that within these many years, within 5 years, um, they will try to earn their prerequisite training, certification or degree in this area. But of course that degree is going to be distance mode degree, maybe from IGNU or some other state universities. So teacher teaching here in the classroom and doing the assignment online through the given material. So इस गैप को कैसे पूरा किया जाएगा, ये अपने आप में एक प्रॉब्लमेटिक चीज़ है। अगर आपके साथ में एक एग्जांपल शेयर करूँ कि इग्नू का जो बीएड होता था, डिस्टेंस मोड बीएड होता था, उसके लिए भी कंपल्सरी ये था कि यू शुड हैव मिनिमम 2 इयर्स ऑफ टीचिंग एक्सपीरियंस इन एनी स्कूल। उसके बाद वो एडमिशन मिलता था और उसके बाद उन्होंने अपना प्रीरिक्विजिट क्वालिफिकेशन और एलिजिबिलिटी टू एंटर इन बीएड दे हैव चेंज्ड इट नाउ। सो until unless you do not have that kind of understanding of school culture, school system and teaching learning process in a school, so वो डिग्री किस लेवल का होगा, उसका क्वालिटी क्या होगा, ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन है। सो कमिंग टू द नेक्स्ट थिंग, दिस इज this is about the school. This is what all I have covered, ki what all is expected from the government. So these are the things that state has to look after. State, when I say state, it is about center and state both. So they have to ensure admissions, attendance and completion of elementary education, and they need to take care of the child belonging to weaker section, whether the admission process is fair. So if you see that RTE is talking about that there should be no screening of selecting the student for admission. So कई schools में आपने देखा होगा, especially in private school, they used to keep written test, and some of the times they conduct interviews with the parents, and in some of the forms they are keen to know about the educational backgrounds of the parents. So RTE इन सारी चीजों को मना करता है, क्योंकि उनका ये कहना है कि बच्चा आपका किसी भी बैकग्राउंड से आए, उसको स्कूल में एडमिशन लेना है और उसको पढ़ाना है। दैट इज वाई आपने पिछले कई सालों से देखा होगा लॉटरी सिस्टम, जिसको हम कहते हैं रैंडम प्रोसेस, रैंडम सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस, जिसमें कौन बच्चे स्कूल में आ जाएंगे। इस वाले फॉर्मूला को हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं। स्कूल का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोवाइड करना, बिल्डिंग प्रोवाइड करना, टॉयलेट्स, ड्रिंकेबल वाटर फैसिलिटीज, टीचर ट्रेनिंग, और टीचर ट्रेनिंग में इन सर्विस और कैप्सूल कोर्स, जिन्हें हम कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग प्रोग्राम, इन सारी चीज़ों को ध्यान देना। दूसरा चीज़ देखना, लोकल गवर्नेंस किस तरीके से काम कर रही हैं। सो मॉनिटरिंग ऑल दीज aspects of a school, and including the curriculum and courses, because as we said that it is a part of concurrent list. So even states have their own choice to run their own books, SCRT design books in their state. तो और फिर जैसे पहले सेशन में आपने डिस्कस किया, जिसमें कि ये था कि प्राइवेट स्कूल्स को फ्रीडम है कि करिकुलर पॉइंट्स, जिन्हें हम कहते हैं नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क से निकले हुए करिकुलर पॉइंट्स, वही होने चाहिए, लेकिन दे कैन हैव प्राइवेट पब्लिकेशन बुक्स ऑल्सो। सो पैरेलली वी हैव हमारे पास बोर्ड भी बहुत सारे हैं, हमारे पास बुक्स के डिजाइनिंग के एजेंसीज बहुत सारे हैं, तो बच्चे बहुत अलग अलग सिस्टम से पढ़ के निकल रहे हैं। फिर इसके बाद लोकल अथॉरिटीज, ये जो these are the responsibility of state, and these are the responsibilities of center and state. And apart from these responsibility, we expect these four more things from the local authorities to take care, because we need to understand the local context of the child, because the immediate context of the child would help us to plan things in the school. They may be having predominantly or majorly majority population would be speaking one particular language or dialect, so we can introduce local language in the classroom teaching learning process, what now NEP is also talking about, teaching in mother tongue and other things. And we may be having certain festivals which actually celebrated by that particular community only, so that particular area, but particular local body can make kind of flexibility in their academic calendar according to those festivals and things. And maybe certain times you have seen that mid elections and other things, local governance elections, panchayat elections and other things are taking place. So local authorities usko apni flexibility ke hisab se apne एकेडमिक कैलेंडर को क्रिएट कर सकती हैं उसी तरीके से. फिर इसके बाद द नेक्स्ट थिंग इज दिस, what is expected from the parents, after the implementation of right to education act, as I found that some glimpses in your questions as well, that certain parents are not willing to send their children to school. So in that situation, what we हम लोग क्या करने वाले हैं और ये कैसे होगा. So उसमें ये कहा गया कि can we keep kind of penalty for the parents and for the teachers who are not going to the community and convincing the parents, and for the parents who are not sending their children to the school. So बहुत सारी brainstorming होने के बाद, बहुत सारे session होने के बाद, फिर finally it was decided that कि we need to sensitize, we need to make parents realize that this is your moral responsibility to send your child to the school. We cannot penalize the parent if parent is not sending the child to the school, because we need to understand the individual circumstances of the family. What is the reason? So most of the time reason is the earning of the family. So child is indulged in child labor. That could be one of the probable reason. And some of the times you see that majorly kind of gender differences you can see here, that many of the girls, the elder girls in the family, they are looking after the elder people or old people in the family or young siblings in the class at the home, and that is why they are not coming and attending the school. और इस तरीके के फैमिली डायनेमिक्स हैं, because both the parents are going out to earn, so nobody is there to look after the rest of the people in the family. That is why that the elder daughter in the family, she becomes the young mother and she's looking after rest everyone in the family. So we need to understand those situations, and for that, this is just a suggestion because I am from the education background. If you see the Ramamurthy Commission, they came out with the learning without burden report, and they discussed about the Pehar Pathshala. Pehar Pathshala ka matlab ye tha ki not necessarily we should have a school in the morning only. Let us see that what kind of work situation in that particular area. Can we have flexible timings of a school? So they kept that point in that report, and they found very good results, because certain teachers used to go to the community. They were going to the farmlands, and they were conducting classes over there, because children were working in the fields, so it was easier for them to come to the common point in the farm area only. So they used to have their classes there only, and then going back to their work. So बिना कुछ भी नहीं पढ़े होने से, तो एटलीस्ट आप, बच्चा स्कूल के पास नहीं पहुंच पा रहा है, तो यू आर ब्रिंगिंग स्कूल टू द चाइल्ड. इस पर भी बहुत क्रिटिसिज्म आया कि फ्लेक्सिबल आवर्स ऑफ स्कूल, दे आर गेटिंग लेसर व्हाट अदर स्टूडेंट्स आर गेटिंग. Children are getting a formal environment in the school system when they have all the accessories which are actually contributing for effective teaching learning process. जब आप बाहर निकल के पढ़ने चले जाते हैं, तो आपके पास वो सारे इक्विपमेंट्स नहीं होते. तो हम कुछ भी एक नया शुरू करते हैं, तो उसके बहुत सारे अप्रिसिएशंस भी होते हैं और क्रिटिसिज्म भी होते हैं, एंड देन वी हैव टू कम आउट विद द बेस्ट अमंगस्ट ऑल दी जितनी चीजें प्रैक्टिस है, उनमें से हमें सबसे अच्छा निकाल के लाना होता है. इनमें से बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स हैं जो मैं आपके साथ ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर चुकी हूँ. Responsibility of school and teachers, simple one formula which one needs to understand, that school is not going to deny any admission. This is what is the gist of this act. कोई भी बच्चा किन्हीं भी सर्कमस्टेंसेस में किसी भी समय स्कूल में आता है, तो आप उसका एडमिशन डिनाई नहीं करेंगे, लेकिन उसके बाद आप ये देखेंगे कि उसके लिए बेस्ट सिचुएशन क्या बनाई जाएंगी. दिस इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी of the school and teachers. This is what is expected from us in a school system. And there is yes, right, this is what we have done. This I have already discussed with you. No capitation fee, किसी भी तरीके का पैसा एडमिशन लेने के लिए या कोई भी स्क्रीनिंग प्रोसीजर will not be followed, because बच्चे हेट्रोजिनिटी के साथ आ रहे हैं, वी आर वेलकमिंग देम, लेट देम कम with their diversity. This is the responsibility of the school and teachers to use, diversified pedagogies and sensitive pedagogy to make them understand what actually is meant from NCF, National Curriculum Framework. So proof of age, this I have done. Then the next, no denial to any admission. Yes. Then आप किसी भी वजह से किसी बच्चे को स्कूल में रोक नहीं सकते। आप ये कहें कि डिसिप्लिन नहीं है चाइल्ड, उसका बिहेवियर ठीक नहीं है, वायलेंट है, वाइल्ड है, अब्यूसिव है, व्हाटएवर, आप उसके बावजूद यू कैन कॉल काउंसलर्स, यू कैन इनवाइट नॉन गवर्नमेंटल organizations which are working in this area, but you cannot deny admission and you cannot expel student on the basis of this issue, because बच्चे के साथ अगर इस तरीके के इश्यूज हैं, वो कुछ मेंटल हेल्थ रिलेटेड हो सकते हैं, वो फैमिली सिचुएशन से रिलेटेड हो सकते हैं, वो लर्निंग डिफिकल्टी से लेकर हो सकते हैं, लेकिन वो स्कूल की ही रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि वो उन्हें देखेंगे कि वो किस तरीके से करना है। यस, यहाँ पर एसएमसीज का रोल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। दिस इज आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस विद यू। नो स्कूल बी स्टैब्लिश विदाउट ऑब्टेनिंग सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ रिकॉग्निशन, ये आपको लास्ट उसमें भी बोला था, लेकिन इसमें मैं एक चीज ऐड करना चाहूंगी कि सपोजेडली चाइल्ड इज स्टडिंग इन अ स्कूल विच इज लेटर ऑन डी रिकॉग्नाइज्ड बाय द स्टेट, तो उस बच्चे का क्या होगा? तो बच्चा इज एंटाइटल्ड टू गो एनी नेबरहुड स्कूल विच इज रिकॉग्नाइज्ड, वो वहां जा सकता है और वो वहां एडमिशन ले सकता है, क्योंकि आरटी में 6 to 14 ईयर्स के बच्चे का एजुकेशन इज इंश्योर्ड बाय द स्टेट। Then this is the next, this is very important and this is the place where you can see your role, यहाँ पर आपका रोल हो सकता है। SMCs का फुल फॉर्म है स्कूल मैनेजमेंट कमेटी, एंड दे हैव डिस्कस द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ दिस कमेटी। ये कमेटी कैसे बनेगी, इसमें मेंबर्स कौन होंगे, अगर आप देखेंगे तो इसमें इन्होंने इसमें उन्होंने बोला है कि टीचर होंगे, पेरेंट्स होंगे, और उन्होंने कहा है कि वी प्रेफर दैट अगर पेरेंट्स में मदर्स हों तो वुमेन हों, और उसके साथ उन्होंने कहा है कि पंचायत है वहाँ या म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन है तो उनके मेंबर्स हो सकते हैं। इस तरीके से करके उन्होंने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का एक स्ट्रक्चर दिया है। सो आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन हियर कि जो मैं ये सोचती हूँ, बिकॉज इन मेजॉरिटी फैमिली इट इज नॉट अबाउट अर्बन और रूरल फैमिली और एजुकेटेड or not educated, but in many families women are not in the leading role, and especially they are not taking decisions, they are not decision makers in certain things. So keeping women in this team, they have a purpose why they have kept the women. So it serves two purpose. One, that in Indian household you see that majority of women are looking after the domestic things, they are taking care of the children, they are more attached with the child, so they would be able to bring those issues and situation to the school to discuss with the teachers and with the other SMC members. और इसके साथ बच्चे ज्यादा टाइम स्पेंड करते हैं मदर के साथ, दिस इज अनदर थिंग। और कहीं ना कहीं एक और भी चीज है, जब हम ग्रास रूट लेवल पर बात करते हैं, एसएमसी इज बेसिकली ग्रास रूट। क्या?
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Can you
This
please?
is going to be the last slide. I'm working on the last slide only.
Thank
I think you just trying to tell me about the time frame. So I'm just getting over with the time.
Sorry
So
to
yeah.
interrupt, ma'am.
Yeah. So यहाँ पर ये उन्होंने मदर को एक मौका भी देना कि seeing mother in that leading role where she is deciding over the schooling of her own children may give a message to the society as well as to the school children. So ये एक आइडिया हो सकता है, लेकिन कितना कितना इफेक्टिवली ये स्कूल में काम कर रहा है इसको समझना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। और सर ऑलरेडी बता चुके हैं, ये एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है। इट इज नॉट ओनली अबाउट द रिड्रेसल ऑफ ग्रीवांसेस रिलेटेड टू चिल्ड्रन इन क्लासरूम और इन स्कूल, इट इज अबाउट द रिड्रेसल ऑफ ग्रीवांसेस ऑफ टीचर्स एज वेल। तो यहाँ पर दोनों के ग्रीवांसेस की बात है, क्योंकि टीचर्स के भी डिससेटिस्फेक्शन हो सकते हैं, उनके भी इश्यूज हो सकते हैं विद एसएमसीज, विद पेरेंट्स। तो दोनों ही तरीके के ग्रीवांसेस के ऊपर बात करना, इस पर बात किया गया है। और इसमें इन्होंने टाइम फ्रेम दिया है कि कितने टाइम फ्रेम में आपको मैटर को रिजॉल्व कर लेना है, और उसके बाद अगर आपको लगता है कि इट इज अबाउट द प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ द राइट ऑफ द चाइल्ड, तब आपको एससीपीसीआर और एनसीपीसीआर को भी अप्रोच करना पड़ सकता है। और अगर आपको दिखता है कि इसमें टीचर का फॉल्ट है, तो आपको हेड ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशन की मदद से डिसिप्लिनरी एक्शन लेना होगा कि वो किस तरीके का होगा उस टीचर के ऊपर। एंड दे टॉक अबाउट पीपल टीचर रेशियो। अगर आप इनिशियल हमारे पुराने डॉक्यूमेंट्स पढ़ेंगे, पुरानी पॉलिसीज 60s की पॉलिसीज देखेंगे, तो आप देखेंगे अभी जो करंटली हम बात करते हैं 1:30। सो थोड़ा सा रियलिस्टिक फ्रेमवर्क में हमें बात करने की जरूरत है हमारे टीचर स्टूडेंट रेशियो के ऊपर, बिकॉज हमारी क्लासेस जनरली इफ यू सी स्पेशली इन द गवर्नमेंट स्कूल, यू सी दैट वी हैव around 40 to 50 children per class. And as sir said that certain systems are multi-grade system where one teacher is teaching all the grades because they have, the school is understaffed. So in those situations, it is very difficult to, to take formal regular classes along with the spatial training or remedial classes for the other teachers, right, for the other students. So this is the last point. ये मेरे slides में था, पर मैंने कुछ points note किए थे जिसमें कि मुझे लगता है कि जहां मुझे gap दिखता है, और क्या मैं stop sharing कर दूं, बिकॉज दैट वाज द लास्ट स्लाइड। और जो मुझे गैप्स दिखते हैं उसमें ये दिखता है कि इट इज अबाउट 6 to 14 years, राइट। सो दे हैव लेफ्ट आउट 0 to 6 years एंड 14 to 18 years। स्कूल एजुकेशन के बाकी सालों सालों को छोड़ दिया गया है। सो ये इटसेल्फ इज अ वेरी डिमोटिवेटिंग और डिस्करेजिंग एक्सरसाइज, दो दे हैव एसोसिएट दोज years with other ministry and with the other department, but एक कॉन्टिनम में पढ़ते हुए आना, एक प्रिपेयर्डनेस होना उस फॉर्मल एजुकेशन सिस्टम की, वो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। एंड समवेयर आई फील दैट दीज पर्टिकुलर टू एज ग्रुप्स हैव बीन एक्सक्लूडेड फ्रॉम द राइट। सो इसका इम्पैक्ट थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लमेटिक हो सकता है। थोड़ा सा मुझे लगता है कि फाइनेंशियल एम्बिग्यूटी भी है, बिकॉज दिस इज एन कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट, स्टेट एंड सेंटर दोनों की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। तो कहाँ कौन से खर्चे कैसे होंगे, एंड हमारे एसएमसी मेंबर्स क्या वो प्रिपेयर्ड हैं कि फाइनेंशियल बजटिंग जिसको हम कहते हैं स्कूल डेवलपमेंट प्लान, वो किस तरीके से करना है, और यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ फाइनेंसेस एंड फंड्स किस तरीके से होगा। सो वी नीड टू प्रोवाइड देम कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग, trainings and other things. So this is the point where we need to involve voluntary organization and NGOs who can help them to understand their socio-cultural situations in a better way, and what exactly they are expecting the school to work upon. So ये कुछ चीजें हैं जहां पर हमें ध्यान देना होगा। और दूसरा जो थोड़ा सा डिस्टर्बिंग है, शायद फोकस बहुत ज्यादा क्वांटिटी पर है कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा बच्चों को एनरोलमेंट में कैसे टारगेट करें। It is less about the quantity, because we have accepted that we are understaffed. We have accepted that we have undertrained teachers, means they are teachers but they are not qualified to teach because they have not taken any प्रोफेशनल ट्रेनिंग और फॉर्मल ट्रेनिंग एंड दैट। एसर का रिपोर्ट है जो कि एनुअल स्टेटस ऑफ एजुकेशन रिपोर्ट है, जो ये कहता है कि बहुत सारे स्कूल्स में जब काम किया तो क्लास 5 के स्टूडेंट्स के बच्चों ने रीडिंग एंड राइटिंग की एबिलिटीज क्लास 2 के बच्चों जैसी भी नहीं दिखाई। तो कहीं हम अपने नंबर्स पूरे करने में तो नहीं लगे हैं कि these many students were able to, we were able to target this much of population, and enrollment structure ये था, we were able to retain these many students, और इतने स्टूडेंट हमारे पास से 5 और 6 पढ़ के चले गए। So more focus is on number rather having focus on the quality of education. That is why that question came कि ये सब कुछ ineffective इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चरल सपोर्ट एक तरीके से है जो कि एक अच्छा एजुकेशन की तरफ नहीं लेकर जा रहा है। दिस इज ऑल व्हाट आई वांटेड टू डिस्कस विद यू, शेयर विद यू, और अब हम डिस्कशन कर सकते हैं।
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot for your meaningful and practice-oriented insights, ma'am. So we have a question from Anjan Sharma.
Yes, Anju,
Yes.
is it in the chat box?
No, ma'am. She'll be
Okay.
Anjan Sharma, please unmute yourself.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, my question is, can India make free education up to university level like developed nations?
In idealistic term it should be, because when you have made it a fundamental right, if you ask me, that we don't encourage we do not have a fundamental right to survive in life, but we have a fundamental right to education, right? So जब आप एक right को fundamental बना रहे हैं तो it should be for everyone, for every stage, So, you are different than the other person. You may be interested to go till graduation, and I may be interested to go for the post graduation and research. So I should be given that opportunity. So you have to have a
Right.
right kind of, you have to have a right kind of budgeting. If you see that, in past few years, if you see our budget, so we have increased the amount of higher education in budgeting, and we have decreased the this percentage of uh, मनी इन इनिशियल ईयर्स. और आप सबको पता है कि हायर एजुकेशन में जाते-जाते ड्रॉप आउट होता जाता है. सो सबसे ज़्यादा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और मनी एंड फाइनेंस एंड बजट वी नीड एट द अर्ली ईयर्स. सो वी नीड टू वर्क देयर.
Ma'am, still right now, if we see then recent budgeting also education in the sixth position of budgeting recently by central government.
No, you try to understand. If you see the other successful countries, success in the terms of, how many student school going population is going to school, they have not made uh, education a fundamental right, but their children are going to school, they're taking education. They have very very stringent, or they have a very well defined uh, concept of vocational and skill training in school level only, so that children are getting choices whether they want to pursue some occupational things or vocational things, or they want to go for the academic qualification. So there should be, what is the aim of this education, we need to understand that as well. Because putting money, end of the day, what do you want to see? You want to see the return and the outcomes. तो आउटकम किस जगह पे जा रहे हैं, दैट इज इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड. बच्चों को हम ट्रेनिंग क्या दे रहे हैं? सो इट इज मेयर गेटिंग basic numeracy and reading, writing, and literacy,
Yeah.
or will they be able to?
I'm really strongly felt that like Japan, we also need some primary levels moral philosophy also. Moral education also very important like Japan, ma'am.
Moral education.
Yeah, right, ma'am.
Morals, what do you mean by moral? Is it about civic
Japan,
sense, or
like Japan introduces a moral education in the primary level also, ma'am.
nahin, what is their definition of moral education? Is it about the civic sense, or is it about certain values which that country wants to inculcate in their children? What is about that moral that we need to understand? Right, you must have seen many people who have not gone beyond the school education, and that too, when I am talking about is school education, not beyond class 8 or class 9. And they were not successful in during their school days, but they are successful in their life. So we need to understand the significance of education, meaning of education, and what exactly we want to prepare in school. बच्चों के दिमाग को किस तरीके का ब्रेन हम क्रिएट करना चाहते हैं, उस पर हमें काम करने का. डू वी हैव थिंकिंग माइंड्स? डू वी हैव रिफ्लेक्टिव माइंड्स? Just I will be sharing one example with you. In many of the Chinese school, you will find that they have created a sports ground uh, on the roof of the school, because there are number of cities which are overcrowded. So they cannot have a school with the playground, but they understand the importance of playground in primary school. So rather having, because they have a crunch of land, तो आपने छत पर बना दिया. So that kind of vision, हमें वो समझना पड़ेगा कि exactly when we talk about all round development, what does it mean? उसका मतलब क्या है? And simultaneously now we need to work upon the mental health also, because mental health or ill health issues are not with the grown up kids only. Now we are seeing those indicators and those symptoms in younger kids as well. So important is to define the child first, exactly at the primary level and upper primary level. How do we define that child? क्या हमारा expectation ये है in class 4 that the child should complete class 4 and will be able to promote to class 5? And in class 8, do we have this aim that child will be able to complete the syllabus of class 8 and will be able to promote to class 9? If we have this narrow vision of education, then this is really troublesome then.
Yes, ma'am.
We need to understand what do we mean by all round development of the child. And when we talk about life skill training, so life skill में क्या आता है? ये इस पर तो हम कोई बात ही नहीं करते हैं ना. क्या सारे सक्सेसफुल लोग एजुकेटेड है, फॉर्मली एजुकेटेड है? ऐसा भी नहीं है ना। तो एजुकेशन को समझना, एजुकेशन में वहां क्या देना चाहते हैं, हाउ आर वी डिफाइनिंग आवर education structure, school education structure, that is equally important. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So, yeah. We have one last question. Mr. Bharat, please be crisp and clear. Just one question. Thank you. And this is the final question. We'll now move to the third segment later on. Thank you. Mr. Bharat.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, मेरा
हाँ जी।
फिर भी ठीक है, हमने नंबर्स भी अचीव कर लिए हैं ऑलमोस्ट, बट अभी भी हमारे सराउंडिंग में ऐसा है कि जो 12th का बच्चा है उसको अगर 6th क्लास की एनसीईआरटी दोबारा रीडिंग करने के लिए भी दे दी जाए तो देयर आर द थाउजेंड्स ऑफ चिल्ड्रन आई हैव सीन कि उनको वो भी नहीं वो अचीव कर पा रहे हैं मैम।
Yes, I do agree with you. There are multiple factors for that. You know, one of the strongest. Yes.
यस मैम।
आप बोलिए।
मैम क्या हम विकसित भारत अचीव कर पाएंगे ऐसे?
देखिए बहुत सारी चीजों में ना जब पॉपुलेशन का जो साइज है स्कूल गोइंग और उसके अगेंस्ट जब आप रिसोर्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करते हैं, वो गैप जितना ज्यादा बढ़ता जाएगा उतनी ज्यादा दिक्कत आती जाएंगी। सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट ये है कि मुझे लगता है कि जो वर्क फोर्स है, मैं तो अंडर ट्रेन टीचर्स की भी बात नहीं करती हूँ। हमारे स्कूल्स आर अंडर स्टाफ। वी नीड टू हैव टीचर, मोर ऑफ द टीचर ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूशन। आपने सुना होगा, हम एक टर्म यूज करते हैं बीमारू। हमने कुछ स्टेट्स को नाम दिया हुआ है बीमारू, और वो बीमारू स्टेट्स ऐसे हैं जिनके पास सबसे ज्यादा अनट्रेन टीचर हैं। सो यू डायरेक्टली कैन रिलेट कि एजुकेशन में और एम्प्लॉयमेंट में वो स्टेट्स इसलिए अच्छा नहीं कर पा रहे हैं क्योंकि उनके वहां पर टीचर ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूशंस कम है, उनके पास टीचर एजुकेटर्स कम है, और इसी वजह से वहां पर अंडर ट्रेन टीचर्स ज्यादा हैं। और वो अंडर ट्रेन टीचर्स के पास मोटिवेशन नहीं है बिकॉज दे आर नॉट गेटिंग गुड मनी। उनको किसी भी तरीके का रिकॉग्निशन नहीं है। इवन इफ आई गिव यू अ सिचुएशन जहां पर आपको ये कहा जाए कि हम आपको ट्रांसफर कर रहे हैं और ट्राइबल लोकेशन में हम आपको भेज रहे हैं, मैं उस ट्राइबल लोकेशन को जानती नहीं हूँ, उनका लैंग्वेज नहीं जानती हूँ। व्हाट इज द मोटिवेशन फॉर मी टू गो टू दैट साइट? सो इधर यू प्रोवाइड मी सर्टेन पर्क्स, आप मुझे पैसा दीजिए, आप मुझे कोई रिकॉग्निशन दीजिए, आप मुझे कोई अवार्ड दीजिए जिसके साथ मुझे ऐसे लगे कि आई फील एनकरेज्ड, बिकॉज ये करना बहुत जरूरी है। टीचर्स आर देयर फॉर एवरीथिंग। दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल। यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग टीचर टू गो टू द कम्युनिटी, टॉक टू द पेरेंट्स एंड टेल देम कि एजुकेशन क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है। आप ही का अपना ऑक्यूपेशन को अगर बच्चे को आगे कंटिन्यू करना है तो आप तब भी बच्चे के लिए स्कूल में आना क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है? सो दिस इज द प्लेस वेयर आई एक्सपेक्ट दैट द काउंसलर्स along with the teacher needs to work in the school system, and the social worker with the teachers, they need to work in the community. So इनके ट्राइंगल के बिना आप काम नहीं कर पाएंगे। इन तीनों के साथ मिलकर आपको काम करना पड़ेगा। सो एक सेंस ऑफ ट्रस्ट मैं बोलूंगी, एक फेथ डेवलप करना पेरेंट्स में कि स्कूल में आने पर उसके लिए क्या मीनिंग डेवलप होने वाला है, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। सो मैं बार बार आपको ये कह रही हूँ कि अगर फोकस आपका क्वांटिटी पर होगा तो क्वालिटी सफर करेगी। टीचर्स आर ओवरवर्क्ड, दे आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू डू सो मेनी टास्क, लेजर्स भरते रहते हैं, क्या क्या करते रहते हैं, इतनी सारी ड्यूटीज हैं जो कि अभी सर ने भी बताया कि स्टेट बाउंड ड्यूटीज हैं, दे कैन नॉट डिनाई दोज ड्यूटीज, एंड यू नो दैट SIR का जो काम चल रहा है दैट इज बीइंग टेकन बाय द स्कूल टीचर्स ओनली। सो दिस इज अ टोल ऑन द मेंटल हेल्थ ऑल्सो। सो आप देखिए पूरे के पूरे प्रोसेस में सबसे कमजोर कड़ी कौन है? सबसे कमजोर कड़ी है जो एलिमेंट्री स्कूल में पढ़ने वाला आने वाला बच्चा है। सो दैट चाइल्ड डजंट हैव एनी एजेंसी। वो तो बोलेगा भी नहीं, आवाज भी नहीं उठाएगा, तो अच्छा है उसी को नहीं पढ़ाओ, बाकी सारे काम कर लो, बिकॉज एवरीवेयर माई अकाउंटेबिलिटी इज फिक्स्ड, है ना। वो वाले सारे काम कर लेते हैं, बच्चे को नहीं भी पढ़ाया तो क्या है, चल जाएगा। दिस इज वॉट वी आर डूइंग। ये रियलिटी है ना। और स्पेशली व्हेन वी हैव अ मल्टी ग्रेड क्लासरूम स्ट्रक्चर्स, तो मॉनिटर्स जूनियर क्लास को पढ़ा रहे होते हैं इन मेनी ऑफ द स्कूल, बिकॉज टीचर कैन सी ओनली वन क्लास एट अ टाइम। सो अब अपने सीनियर बच्चों से उनको क्या मिल रहा होगा और उनका मोटिवेशन क्या है, उनका इंटरेस्ट क्या है उसमें बने रहने का? व्हाई विल दे कम टू स्कूल व्हेन टीचर इज नॉट अवेलेबल फॉर द चाइल्ड? I still remember my own childhood when I was in this school. There were certain teachers in my school, they were the sort of driving force and they were the kind of motivation. I just wanted to see them every day. मैं उनको देखना चाहती थी हर रोज दिन, इसलिए भी मुझे स्कूल जाना होता था. That is also one of the reason. So आपका maturity level में going to the educational institution, you have altogether different motive to go to institution. बच्चों का motivation अलग है, so वो अलग चीजों के लिए आते हैं. तो we need to be sensitive towards our children. उनको स्कूल क्यों लाना है, वो स्कूल कैसे आएंगे, वो कब आएंगे, जब वो आ रहे हैं तो हम उनके लिए क्या कर रहे हैं. तो जब तक हम इन ये फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चंस को वी आर नॉट एबल टू आंसर दीज क्वेश्चंस, तो पढ़ाई तो बहुत बात की बात है. पढ़ाना सबसे आसान है अगर आपने बच्चे को खुश होकर स्कूल में रोक लिया तो फिर तो आप पढ़ा ही लोगे. Child is sitting in the class physically but not at all involved in the process, not at all engaged in the process, thinking about something outside, thinking about the home, thinking about the playground. You would not able to teach that child. Learning is not taking place. So teachers should be smart enough, teachers should be able to assess that this child is not with me in the classroom teaching learning process. But generally, we are having 1:60, 1:55. This is the scenario in the classroom. Even if the teacher is able to identify, but they are not able to pay attention because they have to see rest of the 59 student also, and that too they have to complete their syllabus in a time bound manner.
Ma'am. Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
sorry.
We have one more special
Yes,
guest. So sorry for the interruption.
No,
ma'am.
I'm
Thanks
really
a lot.
very sorry. Thank you so much.
We are delighted to have you, and we have so much insights from you from the ground realities, ma'am. So, and thanks a lot. Due to some time constraints, I now have to move for the third session, ma'am.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Yeah. So yes. So it's my honor to introduce. So that was Dr. Punita Gupta, ma'am. So now we'll move for the third session. So it's my honor to introduce our special guest, Mr. Ramakant Rai, sir, a veteran development professional and a national advocate for the rights to education. So with over 5 decades of the experience, so has worked extensively on child rights, education policy, and public accountability, as well social justice. So both in India and international platforms has experience. So he currently serves as the convener for the National Coalition for Education, which is NCE, and has played a key role in strengthening civil society engagement, policy advocacy, and monitoring of educational rights. So we are privileged to have you with us today, sir. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for inviting me for this session. It was really a great enrichment of mine with Madam Punita and Singh Saab. Singh Saab is my neighbor in Lucknow. So it was really a great privilege for me. I was given to understand that we will be talking with law students and most of the
students are from social work background, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, so Mr. Sarvan Vikram Singh Saab and Punita ji, they have covered almost all what is required. Since I worked with a conglomeration of various teachers' union in India, and we have certain concern, and I'm very sorry to begin with our concerns here. I have been working with some of the MSW students in Lucknow, and their concern was that since last 1 decade of NCRB data, the crimes committed by illiterate or educated people. So their concern was that maximum crime committed was not by illiterates. I'm very sorry to quote this. So now I will not repeat here, but definitely I would like to come with my presentation. Can you upload it? I'm not very keen to. Can you see it? No? Hello? Hello?
No, sir.
I have sent my presentation by mail.
Sir.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay. I will not repeat what Dr. Punita and Sarvan sir has completed. I will just go otherwise. Yeah. You must have. Can you see this? Is it visible to you all? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is what we see early in the morning in our homes. Can you go next, please? Can you go next, please? Please, next, please. Next, please. Okay. Friends, I'm sure you all must have gone through the education process and various incidents in India. But definitely one of the important debate on education happened when India was not free. Vallabhbhai Patel, Gandhiji, all advocated before the British government that we should like to have right to education, which Britishers never agreed, and whatever they agreed, they wanted to dilute it. Rather, they said that if in India more and more liquor and tobacco is sold and more revenue is generated, we will be able to invest in education. That is the agony of that response from British period. But however, after the India becoming free, there are 3-4 important incidents. For the first time, in 1990, there was a Jamtin declaration. Many people might be knowing Jamtin is a place in Indonesia, Thailand. In 1990, there was a declaration, Education for All by 2000. And including many countries, India was one of the signatory for this covenant. And when 2000 came, we found that we are quite far behind the stipulated goal. And again, during 2000, you might be knowing, in Johannesburg, South Africa, there is a place called Senegal, and there was another declaration called Dakar Declaration, Dakar Framework, and it talked about achieving education for all by 2015. And many of the developed countries, they promised that those countries, those poor countries who are not able to achieve this education for all by 2000, we will help it. Many UN agencies also came forward, but by 2015, the situation was not very encouraging. And you must be knowing that UNESCO publishes every year in the month of September one report called GEMR, Global Education Monitoring Report. According to this report, up to 2010, India was a home and is still a home of 1/3 illiterates of the world. 1/3 illiterates of the world, under bracket. And according to ILO, 1/4 of the child labor of the world live in India. So unfortunately, this is where we were. And in 2015, next please, can you go next please? Next please. During 90s in UN, there was International Commission of Education, and it was headed by Mr. Jacques Delors. And they defined what is education? What is the purpose of education? Unfortunately, not much has been debated and talked and developed in my country. But Jacques Delors' theory is very much reflected in UN deliberations, in our policy also, and India's new education policy also talks about. There are 4 branches of education. One is learning to know. First of all, please go back. Learning to know, and learning to do, and learning to live together, and learning to be. Fortunately or unfortunately, during the Kothari Commission, during 64 to 68, there was the idea of common school system. Common school system was envisaged in Kothari Commission, that a rich person, prime minister's child, and peon's child, poor child, migrant child, every child will sit in one class, and the socialization process will begin. And as ma'am was asking, what is life education? This was what envisaged the life learning, life education during Kothari Commission. It's a pity that that was not given much importance. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah. Where we are, we have, after China, we have world's biggest education system. Almost, I will not repeat everything what is written, but we have world's biggest education system after China. But last census, 2011 census, the literacy rate was 74.04. Male was 82.14 and female was 65.45. The good news is that digital literacy increased, reached to 11.79 from 6.88. So that means between two censuses, digital literacy increased, doubled. And gender gap also improved too much. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. I would like to remind you that there are 70 out of 193 countries in the world. 73 countries provide full constitutional guarantee of education to their population. 26 countries provide partial constitutional guarantee. 36 countries provide only for citizens and permanent residents. And 46 countries don't provide any constitutional guarantee, mostly from African countries. And for 9 countries, no data. India, after making right of children to free and compulsory education act in 2009, has become 135th country to provide constitutional guarantee for the children. Next, please. I will just run through it, so don't worry about time. Now, as you know, we are discussing this after 16 years of Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009, after inserting to 21A in the fundamental rights as per 86th constitutional amendment. It says that states shall provide free and compulsory education to all children of the age 6 to 14 years in such manner as the state may, by law, determine. I'm sure our MSW students are quite acquainted with about the law also. What is laws? What does central law and fundamental right says? Fundamental right has 5 necessary fingers. One is you get by birth. Second is it is a state responsibility. Third is it is universal for everybody. Fourth, nobody can snatch it. And fifth is if you don't get it, it is justifiable. You can go to court and ask that government should provide me this education. These are the 5 fingers for fundamental right. So this came in as a fundamental right. Next, please. Next, please. I would like to remind you that every law has 2 liability. One is civil liability and one is criminal liability. For example, if you are a child, your father has a civil liability to take care of your food or clothing, your education and everything. That is his civil liability. And if he doesn't do that, he forces you to go for begging or anything, then begins criminal liability of the law. So let us go next to next. Next, please. The law says that by 31st March 2013, neighborhood schools will be established as per law. And two important things I'm highlighting here because this makes me really angry and our teachers union angry. And we have gone in the court. Somebody has asked the question, if things are not happening, what we can do? So what you can do is, we will discuss later. Number one is the establishment of neighborhood schools by 31st March 2013. And I am running in 24 states of India with the Teachers Health of Teachers Union. And I have seen only 3 states where actual school mapping exercise has been conducted. Only 3 states. I will not name the states. And one provision is identification of children between 6 to 14 years by local authority and maintain data in public domain. What is public domain? Since we are having discussion with students, let me explain. Public domain means any place where it is accessible and visible for everybody. For example, run on the left side at the road, there is a signboard, and signboard should not be less than 1 centimeter width. So every year in the month of during summer, identification of children should be completed and the data, male, female, age-wise, should be displayed in public domain at the school building. I haven't seen any school where it is displayed yet. Next, please. Next, please. As Singh Sahab and Bahin ji दोनों ने बताया कि for one classroom, this is standard. Not these are the norms, and these are supposed to be adhered by all the schools. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. Right to education and state obligation. The state shall provide free and compulsory education to all. I'm not saying, I'm not repeating what my earlier speakers have spoken. But one thing I am reminding that because education is the concurrent, I am reminding education is in the concurrent list. And the law, our constitution said that if there is a central law, state can add up provisions, but cannot reduce the provisions. Any law which central government makes, state, for example, if the central government says free and compulsory education up to class 8, if any state wants to give education up to class 10, central government has no objection. But state government cannot say that right to education in my state, because of the low budget and poverty, we can provide only up to class 7. You cannot do that. But this is happening. I will go into that. Next, please. In terms of regulation of private school, it is not happening. Right of children, Punita ji has already explained it nicely. I will not go into that. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah, as I told you, in most of the states, in South India also, and North India also, there is a Supreme Court ruling that now the disabled children are not supposed to go to CMO office and ask for disability certificate. Now, every location, there will be camp and the health department will go and provide certificate of disability to the children in their location, and government will provide education and for special need children, specific health infrastructure. And I have seen in most of the states, it is not. We have conducted a study. I haven't seen this is happening in most of the states. Next, please. Maintenance of the record of the school. As referred in the law, it says that every year, local authority will provide data age-wise, sex-wise, children's list. This looks very nice. And I defer to my friends when they say that teachers can do and SMC can do. Take, for example, do all the children live with their parents? In circus, there are many children from Nepal, and they don't live with their parents. Many children in the brothels, they don't live with their parents. Many children at the tea shops, hotel, and many captivity situations, they don't live with their parents. So there is no question that teacher or a student or a social worker can gain and motivate their parents. It is the duty under Bonded Labor System Abolition Act and Child Labor Act. It is the duty of the state government, police as well as SDM, to identify their children, arrest the employer, and rehabilitate the child with the rehabilitation package and provide them the school. Unfortunately, it is not happening. I'm very sorry, it is not happening. Next, please. Next, please. Of course, capitation fee, it is being grossly violated. And we have gone through CAG audit report of the Telangana state where 15.29 crore was imposed as penalty by government. But till date, this penalty has not been recovered because they were charging capitation fees. And so is the case in many schools. Next, please. Any test? Yes, of course. Every school, we have come out with the study of the budget schools in 7 states of India, and this is being grossly violated. And there is a provision of NCPCR, SCPCR. We have collected data from NCPCR and SCPCRs in 20 states, and during last 16 years, they have been able to redress only 10% of the complaints submitted to them, only 10%. So a child will not wait for 10 years that SCPCR will redress my grievance and provide me redressal. Next, please. Next, please. This 25% is a very funny provision. In my state, Singh Saab can explain it better. Many of the primary schools, they are not recognized. So we conducted a study and asked the primary private unaided school, do you admit this 25% children? Sir, we are neither recognized, nor we have 10 teachers, nor we comply with the norms of RTE. So we cannot admit 25% children. And those schools, the well affluent society school in my state, and of course in every state, we have found that these children, 25% children, are given to sit in the garage, in the outside, and drivers are teaching them. So that is a funny situation, about 25% poor children. And regarding fee regulation, only 6-7 states have fee regulatory legislation, and they are not adhered to. My own grandchildren studying in Rajasthan, they are complaining. Of course, they are passed out, but this law is not being adhered to. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah, this is already explained by Punita ji. I don't want to go for it. Next, please. Yeah, as I told, this is a situation which I again want to draw your attention. As I told that any provision of the law which the central government passes, state government cannot reduce it. Central government says under section 18 that every school 15 to 18, any person who establishes or runs a school without obtaining certificate of recognition or continues to run a school will be their certification will be withdrawn and liable to fine which may extend to 1 lakh rupees, and if they still run the school, 10,000 rupees per day for the number of days they are running the school. Unfortunately, this provision has been removed from Uttar Pradesh Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education rules. This has been removed in many of the state rules. So this is a funny situation. Next, please. Next, please. School Management Committee, of course, is very important, and Madam Punita has explained it very nicely. Go back, go next. This is already covered by Punita. This is something I want you to ponder over. During 2011, our census enumerated age-specific data. And in 2011, we tried to research it out, and found out that in every state, what is the number of children during the age of 6 to 14 years. Why I am saying 6 to 14 years? Because this is the age group for which right of children of free and compulsory education applies to. And in most of the states in India, in 2011, this law was enforced. So same year, there was census, and in census, you can see every state, and as much 23 crore 35 lakh 83,148 were the number of children in India. And we researched from UDICE data, readers from NUPA, then it was NUPA, now it is NIPA. And NUPA data, we found that 19 crore 90 lakh 55,138 children were enrolled. Mind this data. 23 करोड़ 35 लाख 83 हजार में से केवल 19 करोड़ 90 लाख 55,138 बच्चे स्कूल में इनरोल्ड थे। तो सरकारी आंकड़ों के हिसाब से 3 करोड़ 45 लाख 27 हजार बच्चे स्कूल से बाहर हैं। यह सरकारी डाटा है, हम अपने तरफ से जनरेट नहीं कर रहे हैं। और रजिस्ट्रार जनरल ऑफ इंडिया ने इसी सेम पीरियड को कहा है कि भारत में कुल 8 करोड़ बच्चे 5 से 15 साल की एज ग्रुप में आउट ऑफ स्कूल हैं, एंड मोस्टली दे आर चाइल्ड लेबर। दैट मीन्स आउट ऑफ फुल चिल्ड्रन 14.8% चिल्ड्रन ऑफ आउट ऑफ स्कूल। नेक्स्ट प्लीज, नेक्स्ट प्लीज। 2-3 आपको जानकारियां शेयर करना चाहता हूं। यह है नेट इनरोलमेंट रेट। जब से ये कानून बना है तब से अगर आप देख लेंगे तो विभिन्न सालों में प्राइमरी का, अपर प्राइमरी का 5वां 8 तक, 1 से 8 तक, 9वां 10वां क्लास और 12वें क्लास में अगर आप देख लेंगे तो नेट इनरोलमेंट रेट जो है, ज्यों-ज्यों बच्चे ऊपर के क्लास में जा रहे हैं प्राइमरी से, त्यों-त्यों इनरोलमेंट उनका घटता जा रहा है। यही अगोनी है सबसे ज्यादा मित्रों। और ये 12वीं तक जाते जो स्कूलों से घटने वाले जो बच्चे हैं, जिनकी बात सिंह साहब कर रहे थे, पुनीता बहन कर रही थी, ये वही बच्चे हैं जो ये स्कूल से ड्रॉप आउट होंगे, इनरोलमेंट से हट जाएंगे, नहीं पढ़ेंगे, ये कल को चाइल्ड लेबर बनेंगे। नेक्स्ट प्लीज, नेक्स्ट प्लीज, नेक्स्ट प्लीज। ये ग्रास इनरोलमेंट रेट का भी अगर आप ये देखेंगे तो उसका भी यही हाल है। आप ये देखिए कि 1 से 5 तक जो है सबसे ज्यादा इनरोलमेंट है, और फिर जो है अपर प्राइमरी में थोड़ा सा घटा है, और फिर एलिमेंट्री में 1 से 8 तक जो है लड़कियों का थोड़ा सा लड़कों से कम हो गया है। और ये जाते जाते आप देखिए कि 11-12 में जाते जाते इनरोलमेंट, ग्रास इनरोलमेंट भी कम हो गया है। मेरे ख्याल से सभी लोग ग्रास इनरोलमेंट और नेट इनरोलमेंट रेट से परिचित होंगे। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। ये वो बच्चे हैं जो जिनको हम विकलांग कहते हैं, जिनको जो है दिव्यांग कहते हैं सरकार में। अगर आप ये देखेंगे तो ये बच्चे जो है इनका जो स्कूल में पढ़ाई का जो मामला है, यहाँ पे देखिएगा कि जो है 12वीं तक जाते जाते बेटे लोग जो है ज्यादा स्कूल में रह पा रहे हैं, विकलांग बच्चियां जो है घट रही हैं। 8वीं तक भी अगर आप शिक्षा में देखेंगे तो विकलांग बेटियां हमारी शिक्षा से वंचित हो रही हैं। और अगर ऐसे में अभी जो सरकार की नई योजना है कि स्कूलों को जो है मर्ज कर दिया जाए, तो जो 1 किलोमीटर और 3 किलोमीटर के दायरे में स्कूल होने का जो नेबरहुड स्कूल की बात जो पुनीता बहन कह रही थी, अगर वो जो है खत्म कर दिया गया है, अभी तो स्कूलों को मर्ज कर दिया गया है, तो जो 1 किलोमीटर स्कूल था वो 3.5 किलोमीटर हो गया। मेरे घर में जो काम करने वाली है उसकी बेटी अभी जो 3 किलोमीटर वाला स्कूल में जाती थे वो 7 किलोमीटर हो गया, तो उसने वहां से निकाल के अपनी बेटी को प्राइवेट स्कूल में कर लिया। तो ये जो है ड्रॉप आउट होने वाला है आगे के चल करके। नेक्स्ट प्लीज, नेक्स्ट प्लीज। ये सारे माइनॉरिटी जो हैं भारत में, जितने भी माइनॉरिटी ग्रुप हैं, उनका इनरोलमेंट जो है दर्जा 1 से लेकर के और 12वीं तक है। अगर आप ये देखेंगे तो ये एक थोड़ा सा कंसोलिंग सिचुएशन है और ये एक अच्छी सिचुएशन है। मैं बधाई देना चाहता हूँ शिक्षा विभाग के उन सारे कर्मियों को जिन्होंने ये काम करके कम से कम माइनॉरिटीज के एजुकेशन पर ज्यादा ध्यान दिया है। नेक्स्ट प्लीज, नेक्स्ट प्लीज। अब ये रिटेंशन रेट जो है एक बहुत दुखद डाटा है। अगर आप ये देखें, आप सब जानते होंगे बच्चे लोग की जो है, जो बच्चा स्कूल में चला गया वो साल भर रहता है, पढ़ता है, और तो ऐसे बच्चों का जो है जो आप रेट देखेंगे कि सबसे बाएं आप देखेंगे तो प्राइमरी में है, ये नीला डंडा जो है बच्चियों का है और लाल डंडा जो है लड़कों का है। तो आप ये देखेंगे कि जो ही 1 से 5 में ज्यादा है, और फिर जो है 1 से 8 में घट गया, फिर 1 से 10 में और घट गया, और 12वीं तक जाते जाते लड़के लड़की दोनों का जो है स्कूल में रिटेंशन रेट घट गया। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। और ये है ट्रांजिशन रेट, जिसको बच्चे जानते होंगे शायद। ट्रांजिशन रेट मतलब 5वीं से निकल करके 6ठी में जाना, 8वीं से निकल करके हाई स्कूल में जाना, सॉरी, हाई स्कूल से निकल करके इंटरमीडिएट में जाना। और यहाँ भी अगर आप ये देखेंगे तो जो है ये ट्रांजिशन रेट जो है इसमें भी जो है प्राइमरी से लेकर के हायर सेकेंडरी तक जाते जाते घट रहा है। लेकिन एक बहुत अच्छी बात यह है कि हमारी बच्चियां इसमें बच्चों से ज्यादा ट्रांजिट कर रही हैं। नेक्स्ट प्लीज, नेक्स्ट प्लीज, नेक्स्ट प्लीज। अब ये जेंडर बेस्ड, पुनीता बहन जी जो है जेंडर पर उन्होंने बात किया था। मैं समझता हूँ कि उन्होंने, समय नहीं था ज्यादा और शायद वो और भी इस पर बताते। लेकिन शिक्षा में जो है अभी जो नीतिगत और संसाधनगत अभी जो चेंजेज हो रहे हैं, न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी आई है, अभी जो बहुत सारे उसमें चेंजेज आ रहे हैं, उसका परिणाम अगर आप ये देखेंगे कि 2018-19 से 21-22 के बीच में अगर आप ये देखेंगे कि जो है ये लड़के और लड़कियों का जो ड्रॉप आउट रेट है, वो दुखदाई रेट है, जो है बढ़ रहा है। नेक्स्ट प्लीज, नेक्स्ट प्लीज, आगे बताएंगे भैया। अब मित्रों बस 2-3 स्लाइड में अपनी बात खत्म करूंगा। आप जानते हैं कि जब 2015 में हम लोग सबके लिए शिक्षा की बात नहीं कर पाए, तो इंचेन एक देश है दक्षिण कोरिया में, वहां पर जो है एजुकेशन फॉर ऑल बाय 2030 पर जो है एक बहस हुई। दुनिया के 193 देश वहां पर आए, हमारा भारत भी वहां पहुंचा, और वहां पहुंचने के बाद एक सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल हम लोगों ने साइन किया, भारत ने साइन किया। मोदी जी ने उस पर जो है यूएन को कहा कि इंडिया विल बी एबल टू अकम्प्लिश ऑल द गोल्स बिफोर द स्टिपुलेटेड गोल। तो एसडीजी गोल, जिसको सस्टेनेबल गोल कहते हैं, इसका जो गोल 4 है वो कहता है इंश्योर इंक्लूसिव एंड इक्विटेबल क्वालिटी एजुकेशन टू प्रमोट लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्निंग अपॉर्चुनिटीज फॉर ऑल। इसका मतलब ये है कि जो है इंक्लूसिव माने जो शिक्षा से वंचित रहे हैं उनको भी जोड़ा जाए, इक्विटेबल क्वालिटी माने सबके लिए एक समान शिक्षा, और लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्निंग ऐसा नहीं कहा, जिन्होंने कहा है कि अब बुजुर्ग लोग क्या पढ़ेंगे. So it ensures that those who are over age, those who are in senior age, they can also go for education. And it says there are seven targets: quality primary and secondary education for all, early childhood and pre-primary education, equal access to technical and vocational education training, relevant skills for work, gender equality, youth and adult learning, and global citizenship education for sustainability. Many of the schools go for prayer. So now this goal says that every school and every child, everybody has to think of global development. Our children should be given education to think of global citizenship, global brotherhood, sisterhood, and means of application is safe and inclusive learning, scholarship for higher education, and teachers training and working condition. Next page. Next page. Next page. So against the backdrop of this goal, in India, there is a system, and there is a Niti Ayog. Niti Ayog is the body after the closing of the Planning Commission in India. Niti Ayog came into being, and Niti Ayog is the nodal body for sustainable development goal in India. And it has, go back, please. Go back, please. Can you go back? Yeah. So Niti Ayog has monitored the sustainable development goal and education in India. They have found that only Kerala, Himachal Pradesh, Goa, and Uttarakhand running in tune with the stipulated goal. And Chandigarh, Delhi, and Pondicherry, these are the union territories which are up to mark. And rest of the states are in yellow, they are runner, and in red color, they are far behind the stipulated goal. Next, please. Next, please. So it says that in most of the goals, most of the states are falling behind the stipulated goal. Himachal Pradesh, Chandigarh, they are top runners, and in union territories, two union territories are best runners, and 7 states and 1 union territory fall behind the aspired goal. Next, please. Next, please. Friend, just 3 slides, Srinathji. Please bear with me. What has happened recent makes me really angry, and I want you to become angry because you are a MSW student. You have to ponder over this situation. This is UDICE data. You know UDICE. UDICE is the only centralized data collection process in India which conducts survey and compiles data and publishes it every year. And this has completed, and they have found that from 2017 to 18, there was 131.77 million students, and this increased to 140.50 million. That means almost 55.37% increase in enrollment in government school. But during 2011-22, it sharply fell to 118.38 million, meaning 50% decrease. You know why it has happened? Most of the schools, government schools, were closed. And in the same period, what happened? Unaided private school enrollment grew from 83.31 million in 2017-18 to 85.70 million. That means 36.80%. This increased. It's a notable increase. And in added school, enrollment decreased from 27.99 million to 24.45 million. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. More than 25 lakh children in class 1 to 8 and 43 lakh children in secondary grade and total 68 lakh children dropped out during 23-24 to 24-25. And enrollment in class 1 to 12 declined by 2 million. And total schools declined 17,642 during 21-22 and 87,430 during 24-25. So this is the number of we are talking about having more schools and neighborhood schools. So more and more schools are being closed in the name of merger and school closure. Next, please. Can we go to next, please? This is last two slide. This is spending on education by government. I hope it will interest you. If you see the green pillar, education expenditure as % of total state budget. You see, most of the neighboring countries, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, they spend almost 20% of their budget. And we are spending 14%. And education we are spending gross state domestic product 2.7%. Next, please. Next, please. The earlier slide was about state budget. Now you see this union government budget. If you see during 2018-19 to 23-24, union government expenditure on education as % of union budget. If you see the % of union budget, if you see up to 23-24, this percentage is decreasing. Every year it is decreasing. This is Amrit Kal. And if you see the union government expenditure on education as % of GDP, it is almost reducing from 0.43% to 0.37%. Next, please. Last slide. And you see, during the UPA2 government, there was a provision that we will not take any education loan from any other country. We will rather go for education cess. So there was a provision of education cess in India. And education cess was supposed to fill the gap of education funding. But unfortunately, education cess started coming and government started decreasing its own contribution on education budget. So if you see, its entire dependence on education cess has increased during this period. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. These are recommendations from our union. You can go for your own. I am just reading it out. If you like, you can add it in your reading. RTE 2009 should be amended to include children pre-primary and higher secondary schooling, as Punita ji was saying. School complexes are contravention to accessibility of schools in elementary level, 1 kilometer primary and 3 kilometer for upper primary. Policy should inculcate SDG 4 commitment in ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunity for all. Private bodies should not be encouraged arbitrarily and unregulated, which is happening very much. Government should ensure that teachers are deployed only for academic purpose, except those tasks enshrined in the RTE Act. So there are only 4 tasks given to school teachers. One is census, one is emergency, and one is election. Other than this, teachers are not subjected to any other task. In many places, teachers are assigned the task of counting dogs, going to liquor shop to monitor. These are the tasks. And anything which distinct magistrate thinks necessary, school teachers are the very soft target. And school mapping is not being done by local authority, and no extra data on unregulated private schools. Foreign universities in new education policy, government says that we will be inviting foreign university in India. And foreign university should not be encouraged without regulating and improving our private universities. Resource allocation up to 6% of GDP is still not being promised. NCPCR has not yet been able to redress complaint more than 10%. Focus on vocational education from 6th class without choice should not be done. School safety and security measures are not yet punitive. It should be done. Next, please. Next, please. So thank you in solidarity with children. That is all what I wanted to share. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, sir. Literally, actually, as a special guest, the session was really special for us. You have connected the law with the numbers. It's a completely data-rich session, sir. Thanks for that. And we could able to understand the ground realities in a large spectrum. Really, it was very special for us to have you here, sir. So now we are able to have a Q&A session. So before that, I request all the participants to raise your hand, and we have limited time for that. So make your question so crisp, and only one question per participant. So do not unmute unless your name is called. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So there's other question, sir. So what is the role of a social worker in this context throughout, in a brief, sir?
I think the entire role is goes to social work. Whether it is dissertation, whether it is research, whether your intervention, and I'm saying that when we collected the data, a lot of MSW students, including my own daughter, they help in enumerating and calculating the age-specific children from census data. And they found that 3.5 crore children are out of school. And when we drafted a public interest litigation for Supreme Court of India, MSW students stood by us in helping us in drafting those things. So definitely that's a very definite role of yours in research, in data collection, and also in finding out of school children working at the tea shop, working at the circus, working at any disaster condition where teacher cannot go. So what legal action can we do? What legal action can be taken? I think this organization can organize other training program or other symposium about legal literacy. What are the intervention MSW students can do? But definitely it comes in the ambit of social work. You can do data collection, research, and intervention.
Thank you, sir. We have one question from Mamadou Alpha Diallo.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so my question is about what would be the end user role in that context?
A bit loudly, please. A bit loudly, please.
I say, what is the roles of end user in that context?
My friend, role of NGO has to be decided by the preamble of the NGO itself. Whether you decide to go for welfare of the children, You see, many of the children come with their parents from Hazaribagh, from Chhattisgarh, from brick kiln. Many come at construction sites. So 6 months after 6 months, when there is a rainy season, they go to their hometown. So for 6 months, their daughters are here, and for 6 months, they go to their hometown. There is no education system. There is no provision. They study 6 months in Delhi and then 6 months in Hazaribagh. So definitely you have a role to identify such children and collect data and write and do advocacy with the state government for such children, that these are the children in difficult circumstances. You do something. And if nothing happens, definitely you can go for drafting a writ of mandamus to the court, because this is justiciable right. So fundamental right is also justifiable right. So you can do that.
Yes, I hope Mr. Alpha Diallo, your question is clear. So there's one more question, like is the cess is under discussion? Why it has been declined from the previous government to now? So any debate is going on that. Why that wasn't questioned? Unless it was heard from you, most
Yeah.
of them are unaware of that, sir. Actually.
You see, I come from Eastern UP, and in my area, when people become a little bit rich, first of all, they purchase gun. They don't go for Latin, the toilet or ventilation and all that. So it is a priority of the government whether you want to buy more Rafale or you want to make more schools. It is the priority of the government. Now the government is itself violating the fundamental right of the children. If a child, now the schools are being closed and clubbed together, and where there are almost 1 million children, teachers posts were vacant earlier. Now, because of the merging of the schools, the teachers posts are now, they say it is full. And now those children who were going to one school and this school is shifted to other place, so those children who were going in within 1 kilometer of radius, they have to go for 3 kilometers. This is a violation of government's own right of children to free and compulsory education law. So definitely by merging, many of the children have left the government school and gone to private school, as I have shown in the data. This is because of that. And secondly, there have been some tightness of law. So many schools who were not recognized, many madrasa who were not recognized. So there was a Democles sword on that now. So many schools are now either closed or our children are gone from there to other schools. So because of that, many school closing number of children were declined. Of course, there was also there are also double enrollment. Many children had proxy education. Many children go and in quota they join what you call coaching, and here they have enrollment in private school and also enrollment in government school. So after strict checking, those who were in private school, they were ousted from there, and because of that, these 3-4 regions, children NAPSWI is reduced.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Today, I think it's a time for our closure. And so as we come to the conclusion, sir, today, I sincerely thank all our distinct speakers, Dr. Sarvendra Vikram Singh, sir, and Dr. Punita Gupta, ma'am, and also our special guest, Ramakant Rai, sir. Thank you, sir. And we now have our president, sir, Dr. Sanjay Bhatt, sir, to give closing remarks for that, sir. Now I request Dr. Sanjay Bhatt, sir, to kindly
Thank you,
understand.
Srinath.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
It is really a matter of a great privilege to listen all the three presentations. Rai Saab, I have heard about you a lot, but I listened you first time. And I must confess that many things which you have explained, even I was not aware. So thank you very much from core of my heart. Dr. Sarben Vikramji is a very seasoned educational administrator. And I'm fortunate that he is my friend also. And he is such a soft-spoken person with a good pace. He has explained beautifully the curriculum and other related things. Punita ji is a teacher in Aditi College. And I can see the rigor of a teacher while she was trying to complete her lecture with the PowerPoint presentation, and she wanted to explain each and every point. That's a good quality of a teacher. Thank you, Punita ji, for joining us. Mitro, I will just say one thing, that all these presentations and points which has been raised by our learned speakers, you will find into the next handbook, which we will prepare for you. And we will be very happy if you start sending us comment. Now you have the two handbooks in your hands. You have already listened 7, 8, almost 8 or 9 resource person. We will be very happy if you send us some of your points, some of your suggestions, comments, because this series is benefiting a large number of students, and we are really grateful to you. And the most important thing was that our retention of the participants was excellent. Up to the last speaker, though we have exceeded almost 50 minutes, retention was even more than 3/4. So I'm really happy that in the time of social media where retention is almost nil, people don't see anything more than for half minute or 1 minute. Our participants were with us. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rai Saab. Thank you, Dr. Sarvenji. Thank you, Dr. Punita. And thank you, Om and Srinath, who are basically behind this legal literacy workshop. Thank you, Om, for making all efforts for this legal literacy workshop successful. It is more than a legal literacy. It is of the legal literacy. So thank you very much. We will look forward for the new episode after another Saturday. That's on 14th March. And that will be on the child marriage and child labor. So many points which have just come from here, child labor and child marriage. You will be very happy to listen to very important speakers, those who have done more than 30 years work in that field. You will wait for the announcement and join us in the series Event-04. Thank you very much. And thank you once again, Sir Kartagya. Oh, I forgot to give the thanks to our new ambassador who has joined from
Pinky.
Jammu.
Pinky.
Thank you. Thank you, Pinky.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of NAPSWI, we extend our heartful thanks to everyone for joining us today. Let us continue to work together towards education as a right, not a privilege. Thank you and have a great day. नापसी की तरफ से मैं आप सभी का शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहूंगी, जिन्होंने भी पूरा सेशन ही अटेंड किया है, जो पूरे 3 घंटे से यहीं पे वेट कर रहे थे और आखिर तक हमारे साथ बने रहे हैं। तो उन सभी को मैं धन्यवाद कहना चाहूंगी और इसी के साथ आज का सेशन जो है खत्म किया जाता है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Namaskaram.
Namaste, sir.
Thank you, Pinky, and thank you, Mr. Om. Yeah,
Well,
what's up?